Hi there, my name is FixFox, and welcome to Heroes of Might and Magic 2. This is the FHeroes edition. Today, we are on to Scenario 7 in the Descendants campaign. This will be the Elven Lands. And you may be saying to yourself, wait a second, FixFox, I know the script. I know that we have a choice between either Scenario 6 or Scenario 7. Why are you so confident that we are going to be doing Scenario 7? And the reason is because I tried to make a slight adjustment to my mouse cursor because my resolution is a little bit bigger. My mouse appears much smaller than it is. It makes it hard to see for these playthroughs. And so I tried to do the mouse cursor scaling so that way you could see how many days it took for a hero to get from point A to point B and things like that. But long story short, my computer does not like that setting and it kind of messed with the quality from the video. I got about 1/3 of the way through Scenario 6 and I had to scrap it. And to keep the playthrough alive for being a blind playthrough as much as possible, we are going to do Scenario 7 instead of Scenario 6. With that being said, let's view the intro and see what we are up against.
As war and unrest threatened to topple the kingdom of Draconis, a blow came which might have crushed it. The castle of Ivory Gates fell due to the treacherous actions of a spy from Harrendale. The ruler at the time, Athenia Geldria II, had to decide whether it was better to send for help from the elves or attempt to retake the fallen castle directly.
Okay. And based off of what I've just said, we are not going to try and retake the castle of Ivory Gates. We are instead going to go into the Elven Lands. Gain the favor of the elves. They will not allow trees to be chopped down, so they will send you wood every 2 weeks. You must complete your mission before the first day of the 7th month, or the kingdom will surely fall. Here's my thing. The elves don't really love all trees. They just love their trees, because somehow they're getting trees to me that have been chopped down. So my question is, what gives? Were these like some evil treants that these elves just didn't like? I want to hear your theories. If you have some better theories than maybe that, please let me know. How exactly are these elves getting around the moral quandary of, yeah, we want you to save the trees and not chop them down, but we'll still give you trees that we've chopped down? Let me know. We do have Uncle Ivan as our award. So far, him as a barbarian hero has been terrific for us. I think that we're going to look forward to completing this campaign with him. As the Might faction, I don't think we're going to leak too far into the magic side of things. And we do have a choice between having 1,000 gold, basic scouting, or 20 wood. Let's go to the dice roll and just see what we are going to take for this scenario. Randomly, we roll our 5, and that will give us the 20 wood. 1 or 2, 3 or 4, 5 or 6. So 20 wood, given that we're also going to have some kind of a wood bottleneck, I think that bodes very, very well for us, especially when the alternative is gold or scouting. So our difficulty is on hard, and folks, let's dive right in. The diplomats who were sent here ahead of you report that the elves will only cooperate with you if you will recover the golden bow for them. It was stolen by their enemies, the dragons, and hidden behind magical barriers. Okay, so is this scenario actually a recover an artifact type of scenario? Is that what this is? If we go back to the info, it just says complete your mission before the first day of the 7th month. Gain the favor of the elves. I guess getting the golden bow is how we're going to gain their favor, but I wish it expressly spelled that out here in the scenario preamble. That just feels like it would be a little bit more helpful for me. As it stands, we have 7 months to do so. Let's make that happen. We do start off with Troyanne the Sorceress, level 1, 2 spell power, 3 knowledge. It looks like a pretty standard sorceress, and it looks like we do have a mage guild. I can tell because she already has some extra spells here in her spellbook. And I believe that if we click here, we will have Ivan the Barbarian when we recruit him, because we absolutely will. We will certainly recruit Ivan the Barbarian. He's going to have expert pathfinding. Basic wisdom! Oh my goodness, folks. The likelihood of a barbarian getting wisdom is very, very low. It's very, very low. So seeing that Ivan starts off with basic wisdom is tremendous. Not to mention, now we got the archery, we've got luck. This is a tremendous start. I'm happy to see everything we have here. So we are going to hire him right out of the gate. It looks like this town does come with a couple of nice bonuses. We do have that mage guild, as I previously talked about. Slow, Stoneskin, Cure. This is pretty much a perfect first level mage guild. Maybe I would have traded Maybe I would have traded Stone Skin for a magic arrow. I do like having a damaging spell in the first level, but knowing that Ivan does have the wisdom means that I don't feel like I shouldn't progress my way up this mage guild, and having a damaging spell in the second tier will be just fine for me. So happy to see that. I'm going to move all these troops into the garrison here. Oh, except I do want it to be just one sprite there. These troops are going to immediately go to Ivan once we recruit him. But otherwise, we start off with the statue, the well, the crystal garden, the tree house, an upgraded cottage. Wow, an upgraded archery range. And so we're going to have some decisions to make about what our first building is here. But for now, let's get Troyan just out and about. I see this road. I don't really know where this road here to the south goes. But then there's also this road to the north. Immediately, I'm thinking to myself, well, the road to the south looks like it's just going to run into the end of the map. So what's the point of going to the south? And for that reason, if I'm a map designer, I think, well, yeah, I want you to go south because there's something right here. And if you don't get it right off the bat, you're going to be sad. So I'm just going to go follow this road to the south instead of the north and just see what's here. It doesn't look like there's much. Does not look like there's much. A derelict ship, you have to visit that by water. Lots of skeletons guarding here. But then there's an, ore mine. Thankfully, just enough of this little section here is visible that I can right click and it will tell me that there's an ore mine. I just saw the little rails right there, and so there's going to be my ore. So we will have to go through lots of skeletons soon. Otherwise, we see a dwarf cottage. A trading post right next door is very nice. That's very nice indeed. And then gold on the ground, windmill here. I'm going to be pretty low on gold because Ivan is going to take 2,500 of that gold. Let's go out of our way immediately and pick up these two piles, and otherwise, let's pick up Ivan now. Am I able to purchase a building and get troops? Are these enough troops to start adventuring for me now? And the answer is possibly. When I consider my first building, I always consider, do I get troops by building up a dwelling? Do I get a level of the Mage Guild, or do I get a statue? Well, I've already got level 1 Mage Guild. I've already got a statue. If I get the Stonehenge, I'm not going to have any gold to upgrade troops. I think that my priority as far as my town development should be making sure that I get 8 more gems, so that way I can get the fenced meadow. The likelihood of me getting 18 more mercury and the 10,000 gold is very, very low. Very, very low chance of that. So I don't think it really matters if I get the Stonehenge now or later. So let's pick up the troops and get the marketplace. We'll get the marketplace now because you're always going to want a marketplace. And then these Grand Elves are already upgraded. We might as well get them. We'll have 2 shooters in the group. We'll have mixed troops. And then should I upgrade these dwarves? They're going to be 200 gold to upgrade. I think I will upgrade them only because then I'm going to pick up 2 more dwarves. And then 2 sprites. And then Ivan's going to set off. There's a dwarf cottage here. Perhaps that was a mistake. Just knowing that dwarves, you pick them up and you're going to have to upgrade them or have space in your army for them. Let's go through these skeletons, though, because I know that there's an ore mine here. I assume that Troyan will find something along the way there, and that'll help us make better plans in the future. It would have been nice if I'd stepped on that fountain. It would have been very nice if I'd remembered to buy myself a spellbook. We will come back, though. No fear. 132 experience. Not too bad. Not too bad. And then we have pack of mutant zombies and a graveyard here. The likelihood of me getting this graveyard in the first week is low, but because it's so close to my town, there's a good chance that we'll pick it up fairly quickly. A shipment of wood has arrived for our kingdom. We now have a tremendous amount of wood, but I'm guessing that per the intro that there's going to be no sawmills available in this map, and that's going to be worth knowing. Gazebo, gold, treasure, all for a horde of peasants. A horde of peasants is not scary. It's not scary at all. I think I've had better fights with my 3-year-old son than I'll have with a horde of peasants, quite frankly. But then again, he's a little bit of a cheater. He pulls no punches. I don't blame him. He's his mother's son. She didn't hear that. That's good. I love my dear sweet wife. She's terrific, by the way. Let's start getting this Stonehenge now. And then we will consider our purchases later. But for now, I think that we have enough. Just so long as we keep building something, we'll be fine until we are able to find our gems to get to our unicorns. I do think that 3 goblins is actually pretty good. I'm going to accept those losses, especially knowing that I'm probably not going to want to keep goblins around forever. they're a great troop to have. I'm always happy for them, but they do tend to bring down your morale, especially when you have the opportunity to have just sorceress troops or all troops of one alignment. And so it won't hurt my feelings if I just use the orcs and use the goblins to kind of push through these troops as best as we can. Losing one sprite, though, that is terrible. We can't possibly allow that. For some reason, I'm fine with losing 3 goblins, but woe be unto you if you try and take one of my sprites away from me. It sounds so bad. I'm valuing the lives of the sprites over the lives of my goblins, but again, goblins don't factor into my long-term plans. I would always rather lose goblins than sprites. Even 7 goblins I'd rather lose, because I think that my town is going to be pumping out good troops very, very quickly. I don't think that the orcs and the goblins are really going to factor into my plans very long. I really don't. I don't have to step on those runes for the Medusa to start accumulating. They will accumulate from week to week regardless of whether I step on that ruins or not. So I'm going to ignore that for now. One thing to consider is, yes, I have 45 wood now, and for this one town, that's plenty. That's all I need. But, and this is very important, what if I run into another town? What if I run into another 2 towns? It costs 20 wood to upgrade a town into a castle, and so I'm going to want to try and save my wood just to be smart, just to be safe. But I do know that I have this trading post here just in case I need to do something silly and really trade, I don't know, precious resources for wood. Very, very rare is that the right choice, but in this case, it just might be. Looks like we have this nice little alcove and a strong wall at our back. It's possible, but unlikely, that there is a not a windmill, that there is a whirlpool right here. If there is a whirlpool right here, and the enemies come through it, and then they land, that could be devastating. What's the likelihood of that? Very, very low, and yet my paranoia is setting in just in the slightest bit. So whenever my spidey senses are tingling, it's generally a good idea just to be aware of what could happen, even if it never really comes to fruition. I will pick up the Thieves Guild. There's just a lot of good value from the Thieves Guild, and 5 wood is a fairly low investment. Otherwise, we need to hurry, work on these peasants, and then head north through those dwarves as quickly as possible. There's 11 more dwarves. We must remember to pick up our spell book and pick up those very nice spells. I don't think we're going to get enough mercury anytime soon, but does that mean that I purchase these druids now? I think I forego the druids, but I will pick up the rest of these troops here and here. I'll send them down. And then with 1,800 gold left, I should be able to have Troyan upgrade her dwarves and then send them on their way. And this feels like a pretty good fighting force. This really does. So, I must tell you, in the scenario that I attempted to play with Ivory Gates, Ivan started off with advanced diplomacy. I got a treasure chest right off the bat, and then it went to expert diplomacy. Within the first 2 days, I had expert diplomacy. And I'm very sad that I didn't get to show everybody that for this reason. I've talked about doing a diplomacy game a lot. I've mentioned it and said, well, you know, you can do this and you have the opportunity, and all of the cards just lined right up for me. And I was able to push my advantage in a very interesting way. I was able to get a lot of awesome low-level troops. Unfortunately, it just wasn't meant to be. But the reason I'm kind of bringing that up is because when we're talking about having, you know, goblins or these other mixed troops, it's just very interesting to be able to see those alternative playstyles coming through, especially when it happens fairly rarely. When it's unique, it's always interesting to me. Always interesting. What are we going to do here? I think we for sure want to get the gazebo, and then I think I want to give Ivan the opportunity to get this treasure chest. We're going to take ballistics. I like scouting a lot. I really, really do. But we are going to take ballistics here. Gold, we're fairly low on gold, so let's actually pick up 1,000 gold because it just makes more economic sense. I like the ratio for the gold over the experience there. The value feels better there. I don't think I have any more purchases to make here until I have mercury, until I have gems. I'm going to stop checking for now. You notice that mines and resources in the Elvish lands are few. and you send word to your kingdom that you will need extra supplies. They should respond within a fortnight. Now, my American education would indicate to me that a fortnight is 2 weeks. However, how confident am I in that? I mean, hard to say. Is it 2 weeks from the beginning of this week, or is it 2 weeks from now? I don't know. And for that reason, this windmill is going to be important to get every single week. Say that I had Mercury this week and then Mercury next week, I'd be in a tremendously productive spot. As it stands, I think we're just going to have to be choked for resources for now. Okay. So here we do pick up gems. Gems, okay, we're only 6 gems away from getting our unicorns. That's very, very nice. And then Ivan's going to set off this way. You're kidding me. Oh my goodness, let's fight this fight again. Dwarves are tough. This is 20 times 6. That's 120 hit points here. That's 240. That's 360. That's 480. That is 600 hit points of dwarves. That's a lot of dwarves, and I do not have a lot of offensive firepower. I didn't think that that would happen, though. I did not think that we would have that much problem fighting these foes. What are my priorities here? Save everybody except for the goblins and the orcs. So I think I can maybe slow down actually with 10 movement points, or excuse me, 10 spell power. This slow will last for exactly 1 turn. Is slow going to help, or will stone skins help? If I stone skin these battle dwarves, they're going to be pretty tough to deal with. I think I'm going to migrate all my troops down. I will abandon the orcs to whatever fate these battle dwarves feel is necessary for them, and I will just try and save my elves and keep this battle dwarf stack very, very healthy. That is my plan for now. And as you can see, I'm not doing a lot of damage very, very quickly. These grand elves only took out 1 dwarf. Dwarves are a good unit. I've always been a big fan of dwarves. And we're just going to see kind of how this battle shakes out. Let's work on the lowest stack here. Yeah, they don't even care about these orcs. They don't even care. Imagine being the troops on the battlefield and you say to yourself, wow, the enemy is ignoring us. Their bombardment, their cannon fire, all these things, they just don't care. They're not attacking us. And then that's because, oh, it's because you're useless. That'd be so sad to just realize, oh, I'm not a priority target. I mean, that's ideal, of course. You know, I mean, nobody wants to be, you know, the primary source of the enemy's ire. And yet, in a medieval world, we all want to be, we all suppose ourselves to be the hero of our stories. Again, with these goblins, they are going to be hopefully our fodder. I think I'm going to attack now. I will wait with these battle dwarves. Insofar as I'm going to wait to stone skin them is what I meant. We'll see how many of these dwarves I can kill. There's no guarantees that we can kill all 4. We definitely did not. This leaves room for these dwarves to get through. And here again. Should I stone skin now? I don't think so. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. It looks like these dwarves are going to go first, and then this one that is 5. So my dwarves are going to get to go before these ones. We're hopefully going to be able to step up and kind of plug the gap a little bit. 1, 2, 3, 4. Does it really matter? Let's just try and take out 1 whole dwarf wherever we can. Okay, no problems, no problems. Stack of 4. If I can kill this 1 dwarf and give myself access here, I will. Should I worry myself about this? Let's kill as many full stacks as possible, especially the stack that hasn't gone yet. Oh, should we pick up the straggler? No, we should try and do damage here. I do want to save this grand elf. 1, 2. Yeah, there's no slow that's going to help me. Let's just stone skin the elves. I know that the dwarves potentially can take more punishment, but maybe I can save 1 whole grand elf. The enemy didn't even target them. Why do I do what I do? Very difficult to say when you think that the enemy is going to do one thing, when you think that they're going to zig and then they zag. And that's actually something that I've mentioned before that I really like about the FHeroes2 AI. Not that oh, it's random, it's hard to see, because it's not random. The AI does a very good job of being very consistent. However, one thing that you will find the more that you play with the FHeroes2 AI is that they will surprise you in that they will make some very precise calculations that only after they've made that choice will you realize why they did what they did. The FHeroes2 AI will occasionally surprise me with how nuanced its approach to a certain battle can be. And I'm always very happy to see that. And even when it's to my detriment, even when I'm suffering because they made a great play, that doesn't hurt my feelings too bad. It really doesn't, because, hey, they just made the appropriate play. They made the best play. And then I'm learning, I'm getting better from that. Occasionally, what you'll see me do is go back after a game's over, and I will recreate in the FHeroes2 battle simulator one of these fights that maybe was really, really close, or somehow the AI did much better than me, and I will just run that battle 10 times. And the reason I run it 10 times is because luck and morale can always be a factor, but also then terrain can be different. I mean, lots of things that go into winning a battle or losing a battle just change from battle to battle. And so I take a little bit of an average and I just kind of see, okay, what was the difference between this fight and that fight? And sometimes I come away with some very interesting strategies, some new things that I have to consider. For example, I did that not too long ago. And what was the troop? It was air elementals. I did this a while ago. With air elementals, the value of a bless on air elementals is stupendous. And it's pretty obvious to see because they do a minimum of 2 damage and a maximum of 8 damage. They have the highest swing between minimum and maximum damage outputs. But I would not have really made that connection until I went through the battle AI and I just kind of played around with it. And that was my conclusion that I drew, that hey, this is one of the effective times and one of the effective ways to use Bless, and I got that from looking at the FHeroes2 AI. The sounds of combat draw you to the scene of a fight between an old barbarian and an 8-headed hydra. Your timely intervention swings the battle in favor of the man, and he rewards you with a pendant he used to calm his mind for battle. This is the Serenity Pendant. We are now going to be immune to Berserk spells. Very nice, very nice. Okay. I don't think it's going to be too big of a problem to kind of go through these mutant zombies, but I'm definitely planning on it because I see all of those nice shrines behind it, and I don't think I'm going to have the resources to really build up my main town, and so I feel obligated to pick up these spells where I can. Again, I at some point I'm going to need to trade. I'm going to need to trade for 6 gems because I think that that's probably the best thing for me. If I could find a Mercury lab, I would be in great shape. As it stands, I doubt that that's going to happen. It's going to take me a while anyway to figure out what best to do with myself. So overall, this scenario feels like it's going pretty slow right now. I don't have a lot of free movement on the field. My secondary hero has to really go through choke points where enemies are guarding in order to really see what's happening. There's no observation towers that give me a whole lot of, insight into where I should go or what I should do. And if I'm to understand the game correctly, it sounds like maybe the best opportunity to upgrade my town is to wait 2 weeks? How does that make any sense? But what that does, I suppose, is it gives you the opportunity to do the best you can, squeeze out some very tiny margins for victory. Oh no. I did way worse than the AI did just now. Squeeze out some very tiny margins of victory, and then just do the best you can. We have 7 months to complete this scenario. Yeah, if we have 7 months, then I think we're going to figure out what to do in short order, how best to move forward. Slow, we already have slow, so I'm not upset to see that. We'll pick up this other one, and then we will go on from there. It's habit. I just go and I check my town, even though I know that there's nothing to build. Nothing to build whatsoever. What's this spell, though? Bless. Bless is good. So we have what? Cure, Slow, Stone Skin, Bless. Didn't we already have Bless here? No, we did not. For some reason, I thought we did. It's always nice to have a Bless. Always nice to have a Bless. Otherwise, I think that this army is big enough to fight through whatever we're up against here. Let's just get out and about. We'll come back to this graveyard later. And otherwise, I think we just need to wait with Troyanne. Maybe I should send her up. I do have a lot of gold. I don't think I'm going to need a lot of gold. Maybe I should... Tell you what, I'm going to send Jacqueline, the Barbarian, up. And the only reason I picked Jacqueline over Thundax is because she's got more troops. But I'll send her up along with Ivan, because then maybe with the secondary hero, he doesn't have to go so far out of his way to pick up some random knickknacks. I can just make more effective use out of my main hero's army than anything. And just see kind of where that takes me. That's really me trying to look a couple of moves in the future. It's not going to help anytime soon, but it might help me in the future. I'm going to see if I can save some sprites. At this point, maybe I'm thinking, look, 26 battle dwarves is a lot of battle dwarves. Do you really need that many battle dwarves? Maybe not. Maybe you should just split that stack of dwarves, especially in an instance like this. I know that the AI said we were going to lose a lot of sprites. I want to make sure that I don't lose any Grand Elves. I don't want to lose a single Grand Elf. I think that the AI is going to see higher priority here on these dwarves. I guess not. Nope, they actually do say, nope, the sprites are our primary deal. Wow. So in order of priority, that's a very interesting case study. What did the FHeroes2 AI do there? It recognized, okay, Grand Elves at full strength is the priority. Make sure that they don't get off there at range double shot. Let's take them out now. Okay, and so they encumbered that stack. And then they focused on encumbering these orcs while also attacking these sprites. So they sent that group up, and then they lost that gargoyle there. And then they sent one more shot up against these sprites, and then one against the dwarves. It's very interesting to kind of be able to really parse out what the AI is thinking, where its priorities lie. And so, interesting to me. Happy to see kind of that little bit of an insight there. What do I make of that? What's the big takeaway? Well, the AI is playing very well. That's my takeaway. It's being smart about its choices. It's being smart about its decisions. If I leave, I think that these gargoyles will actually attack these Grand Elves, and I don't really want them to do that. So I'm going to skip. I'm going to let them remain encumbered, and then I hope that these gargoyles will attack somebody else. They did. They attacked the battle dwarves, and that's probably the best thing for me. From here, the battle is won. There's not much else we should worry about. But all the same, let's just park that in there. Did I fight that battle worse or better? I don't recall, but I fought it the way I fought it, and that's just that. Before I forget, though, we absolutely need to make sure that we are splitting some troops for this fight. Let's move our fastest troops to the very top. Let's get our dwarves here. The sprites are probably not going to last. They are so fragile. Only 2 hit points. But they can potentially clog up the enemy and prevent some ranged attacks. Should I wait on this fight? No, I should not, because I can't get around. I might have waited if I could somehow slip by these elves. I cannot. I must go through them. If I had a haste on these dwarves, that would be the best thing for me. Unfortunately, I'm going to take a lot of losses, but I will win this fight. Even if I lose all the elves and the sprites and the orcs, that'll be fine. But I will win this fight. The AI says I'm going to do even better than that. Let's just see how much better we can do. Very rich of me to say, oh, let's see how much better we can do, when really I've been doing terribly. I've been doing absolutely not very good recently. Again, I'm prioritizing keeping the Grand Elves over any other troops. And I kind of actually did not want to kill that whole top stack, just because eventually I want these sprites to go down and encumber more of these enemy troops. As it stands, we're going to do an okay job of it. We're going to stop this group, and we're going to stop this group. Okay, not too bad, not too bad. Let's see, where to attack. My Grand Elves are still always going to be faster than these elves. My elves should be able to kill all these elves, but just in case, the orcs will make sure that there's no problems with that. That did cost me one more elf. It was close, but it did cost me. And then otherwise, there's no retaliation. It doesn't really matter. Same here. Oh, they actually stuck around. Very nice. Very nice. We'll remove that annoyance there at the top. And then from here, the battle is absolutely won without issue. And I even get to keep some sprites. So I am glad that I used that stone skin. I ended up losing the same amount of elves and all of this one stack of pixies, but I saved some other pixies, and that extra stack of pixies, that extra 5, really might matter. It really might matter. We won't know until later, but we will see. We will wait and we'll find out. Stop checking your town. There's no purchases to make. +2 sulfur. That's very sad. I really wanted either gems or mercury. Am I getting to the point where it's reasonable to start thinking about a trading post, though? I don't think so. It'll still be so expensive, and simply trading for gold is not going to be the play. We're going to take the experience here. I think I need experience more than I need gold. Logistics is terrific, though. Very happy for that. During a sudden storm, a bolt of lightning strikes a tree, splitting it. Inside the tree, you find a mysterious mace. It's not mysterious, it's a mace. You hit people with it, and they die. That's how it works. There's nothing mysterious about it. That is a reference to something else. It's self-referential, which is probably the most the most prideful thing you can do. I'm not gonna dive too much more into it, but I said that one time, and ever since then it's stuck with me. Occasionally I'm accidentally funny, and when that happens, I kind of revel in it in a way that I ought not to. A shipment of wood has arrived from your kingdom. 20 wood. But to be honest, if I don't, who will? So you got to be your own biggest fan. If I was ever a motivational speaker, I think that that's going to be one of the big things I would tell people is be your own biggest fan. Ore is the only resource that we have in abundance. It's the only resource that we can trade, and we know that we're going to get more of it later. As far as this town goes, we're going to need 30 mercury for this red tower. I can't trade all my mercury away. Excuse me. I can't trade all of my ore away and be happy with that, because I'll feel bad about that decision later. But 30 ore and 20 mercury is such a huge barrier. However, that's never going to matter if you don't get your gems. So I think that by the end of this week, we need to plan on trading for gems. Let's pick up whatever resources we can find around here, and then we'll go from there. Let's pick up this knowledge here, and I'm going to fight these mummies. There's a dwarf cottage here. That'll be nice to pick up. Let's split these dwarves as we had talked about previously. At some point, and maybe the time is now, these orcs are not worth it. And why is that? Well, they're just not doing any damage, considering that they're bringing down my morale by 1. I think that now is the time. Next turn, or in the next little bit, I'm going to pick up this dwarf cottage, and I think that that's going to be a good move for me. I'm going to move down just a little bit and send Jacqueline over this way, just to see if there's something right here that I ought to be aware of. Veteran pikeman. Not good. Jacqueline's going to go back, and she's going to help be part of this resupply with Troyanne. Troyanne's going to pick up what I can, and we're going to meet partway through, so that way we can be ready for these veteran pikemen. Mummies, that's not an easy fight. Lots of mummies is a pretty tough fight. I think I have this handled, though, with 6 spell points. I think I can take them. Let's do it. Okay. Avoid losses, as always. Even if that means losing some dwarves, I can lose dwarves and feel just fine with that. The only problem with splitting my Grand Elves is now it makes less sense to bless. Because if it was one whole stack of 8, then all 8 of those troops get the bless. As it stands, I think I'm going to end up saving my spell points for the stone skins. I think that's going to be useful for me. It's going to take 2 turns for these regular mummies to get down the battlefield, and these royal mummies are going to be coming in a little bit quicker. So let's work on them right now. And they go south. Why here? Why here and not there? That's just an interesting split. I would have guessed that they would have gone that way. Oh well. The rest of these mummies are going to go up, though, because there's a blocked path right there. I think that these battle dwarves can handily defeat these mummies. Let's consider things a little bit closer to here. Let's just prioritize. Closer to where the danger will be. Yeah, even cursed, these dwarves should be just fine. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. I'm just going to wait right here. Mummies do not get good morale. Because they're undead, they just don't care. It doesn't matter. And so there's no sense in worrying about taking a step back. Those mummies are waiting just out of range. That's a little interesting. Let's work on, maybe I can kill 2 mummies. I can. Let's see if we can kill 1 more stack there. Looks like 1 mummy goes, attacks, and then at least I'll get the chance to take out 2 more mummies before they try and hurt my grand elves. Looks like they didn't even try, so that's okay. How about this? How about, because we know stone skin lasts 2 turns, let's stone skin these dwarves now, send them up, we can start taking the retaliations, and we can just plan on losing 1 or 2 of these dwarves. I don't love it, but we'll plan on doing it. I'll kill the 2 mummies here so that the sprites stay alive, and then we will try and save... Oh, I guess it doesn't really matter which of these stacks of mummies I attack. Yep, it doesn't matter, but now it does. I don't want to waste extra damage that I could be doing on this single stack. And then these dwarves come in, they clean up there. Ooh, and I did lose 1 battle dwarf, but it was close. It was very, very close. Okay, so we end up losing the 1 battle dwarf. That's what they're there for. Again, one of those things that a wise leader probably does not tell their troops. Hey, just so you're aware, it's your job to die so that that guy can stay alive. Probably not the best motivational speech that any famous general has ever given. For some reason, I can't see Napoleon saying that. I can't see Sun Tzu saying that. In fact, I'm sure that in The Art of War, that there's actually something that explicitly says, maintain the morale of your troops or else you will have no more troops. Maybe I'm paraphrasing there just a little bit, but I'm pretty sure I'm right. Otherwise, again, we are saving those greater druids for now. I understand that, you know what, I'm losing out on some value with them now. I do understand that. What's going to be the cost to upgrade them later? They are 350 now. They will be 400 when they are greater druids. And so it's going to cost 100 gold per troop to upgrade them. That's going to cost me 1,300 gold in the future. Is that worth it? I think I would rather have the troops now, especially knowing that I got veteran pikemen. Lots of veteran pikemen coming up. Veteran pikemen are no pushovers. They're not pushovers. So let's send it up this way now. I know it's going to cost me later, but we will do the best we can with what we have. Troyanne, though, how far is she going to be able to get? She'll be able to get to right here. And then right here. Let's actually just have Jacqueline wait right here. It'll take next turn and then the turn after that. And then we should be able to do this resupply for Ivan. A little bit more mercury, or excuse me, a little more ore. Great, that's exactly what I wanted. I definitely wanted more ore. The one thing I already have, that's what I really wanted. Looks like there's dwarves right here. Rather than splitting the elves, let's split the dwarves and just keep juggling this back and forth. We're going to lose some tactical advantage in the sense that now I can't split some of these troops as effectively as I could have before. But at the low cost of that tactical flexibility, I get 28 additional dwarves. That feels pretty good to me. Yeah, baby. Yes, a group of battle dwarves with a desire for greater glory wish to join you. Do I accept? Yes. I have 2 stacks of 12. I go from 1 stack being to 12 up to 36. Folks, this feels like the Roland campaign. The Roland campaign was that time where you get the Dwarven Alliance and you're able to recruit dwarves and you just have huge stacks of dwarves running all over the place. This is reminiscent of that and it feels great. Let's continue to do that. Okay, so we've broken through this area. I don't think we're gonna have to worry about resupply here. I do have the expert pathfinding, so the swamp is not gonna bother me. And a secondary hero can resupply, pick up this gold, and then head into this area. It looks like there's a gazebo, maybe there's an artifact, maybe there's something else I should get. Let's just step here. Beware the deadly swamps. That's actually a little scary. And I'll tell you why, because that sign I don't think is just simply flavor text. That feels like a thing where it's like, hey, you're going to step on this tile right here and there's going to be 50 hydras that come out of the mist and just like shock and surprise you. And if that's the case, then you're having a real bad time. So we want to be careful about going into the swamp. You have received a shipment of supplies from your kingdom. There is a note attached. These are all we can afford to send you from our treasuries, as the war with Herondale is taxing us greatly. We will send more in 2 weeks. That's all you could send. That's all you could send. I'm the king, man. I'm the king. It doesn't matter where I'm at. It doesn't matter where you're at. Everywhere I'm at when I'm playing this game, I'm the king. Send me the resources. If I need to allocate some additional funds to you, I will do so, but give me the opportunity. Once again, that's my hubris coming out, and we will absolutely try to avoid that in the future. Okay, as it stands, let's just head down. I don't need to step on this witch doctor's hut, and I do want Troyan to head back and pick up this windmill as soon as she can, and maybe even the trading post. Can I get to the trading post before the end of this week? If I can get to that trading post, I can trade at a much better ratio for these 3 gems. Maybe I'll find some gems. Maybe I'll get lucky. We're not going to know, but if it comes down to it, at the very last second, I may pick up a hero whose whole job is just to sit on that trading post and give me a great ratio on my trades. We are going to take the ballistics. This artifact looks free, and it is free. After freeing a princess of a neighboring kingdom from the evil clutches of a despicable slaver, she awards you with a Medal of Honor. +1 morale. Very happy to see that. This halfling hull is nice, but I just don't have room in my army for it. I could get rid of sprites. As many dwarves as I have, I could get rid of sprites. No, because I've got 13 greater druids coming, and that would take the slot of those halflings anyway. So we're going to wait on that. We are absolutely going to wait on that, and we're going to head back. I wish I knew if this stash of veteran pikemen was simply hoarding a resource. Like if there was gems right here, I wish I could know that, but there's just no way for me to know. So I'm going to have to forego going back here. I'll have to catch it later. I think eventually I will catch it later, but for now, we're just going to have to hope that we didn't miss something very critical there. We do have the basic scouting, but you know what? We do have basic scouting. Let's just step here. And that tells us a lot. If there's stables right here, that means that there's a path up that way. And that actually makes me feel good, because then it doesn't hurt my feelings to go through the swamps. Because especially since there's a sulfur mine there, any resource generation is very, very welcome at this time. Very, very welcome indeed. Okay. Still nothing to purchase. It's going to come down to it. There's no way Troyan can get all the way there. Let's do this now. Will it be Marini or will it be Alamar? It will be Alamar the Warlock. Especially if you're having to resupply all the way from home, it's not a bad thing to have more heroes, because then you can do the hero chaining, where because the units are not the ones that keep track of the movement, they don't keep track of how far they've moved from day to day. It's the actual points on your hero. You can do whatever you want in order to make sure your troops just get as far as they can. And one of the best ways is to move them as far as they can with one hero and then have them hop into another hero's army and continue on with that hero. I've said it before and I'll say again, how does that work? How does the hero motivate them to simply pull themselves up by their bootstraps and just keep walking? I don't know, but it does work. 1, 2, 3. I understand. For all the reasons we had talked about before, trading wood for these resources is bad, but so far I haven't seen any reason to think that this is going to hurt me in the long run, and I haven't even seen another castle, and I'm going to get more wood pretty soon anyway. So let's do it, and let's get our fenced meadow for the new week. Okay. So Alamar has done a great job. He maybe didn't even know it, but he's done a great job, and I'm very happy for him. Resources here, more sulfur. Okay. Well, with this sulfur mine and that sulfur there, we are absolutely full of sulfur. Let's do our split there. Oh, let's have one sprite go back. And so we have this full army. This is a good looking army. Uncle Ivan feels a little bit under leveled. He's level 10. He started off at level 5, but he's got all the great secondary skills I could possibly want. The 2 S tier skills in logistics and leadership. And then he's got the pathfinding. He's got the wisdom. He's got the archery, luck, ballistics. Yeah, Ivan is looking pretty terrific. He's not looking as good as Thundax did when we went and found Ivan in the swamps. That was one of the best built heroes I've ever seen, and I can't even remember exactly why Thundax was so much better. I just knew that in that moment Thundax was maybe the best hero that I've ever been able to train, you know, help develop, and Ivan's looking great. He's looking great. I shouldn't compare. It's like comparing children one to the other. It's like, well, Johnny is a space cowboy. Yeah, and Steven is a world-famous musician. They're both good. I shouldn't be mean to Johnny just because. I disagree with his life choices. Maybe he doesn't agree with my life choices. You ever think about that? Huh? My kid, by the way, is not named Johnny. If it was, that'd be a very sad, very, very sad kind of analogy. Okay. So I still see this graveyard. I don't think I'm ever going to get it at this point. And that does make me sad because it's, you know, it's a little bit of gold and it's an artifact. But it's just going to slow me down at this point a little bit, I think. Darn. That Stonehenge, I would love to get. I would love to get it. But at this point, do I send 5 more druids knowing I'm going to have to pay to upgrade them later? I think I do. I think that when I eventually upgrade all my druids, I will upgrade all of my druids. But until that time comes, we purchase all the troops and we figure it out from there. What? Oh, I hit Marketplace. I meant to hit M here, and then that will purchase all these troops. I do think I have enough gold. I do. Send everybody down. Send those there. Is this army big enough to take on 100? 100 zombies? I think so. With a mage guild? I think so. Let's actually have Alamar do that. Oh, let's get the luck. It's gonna incur some losses, but if I get a tremendous artifact, I won't feel bad about that at all. Really, Troyan is just here to be ready to ferry troops to the front, as is Jacqueline. It would take maybe 2 weeks of creature growth to bust through these veteran pikemen, so we are going to wait on that. And it feels silly to send anybody but Jacqueline into the swamps. Maybe I should just send Jacqueline into the swamps with her advanced pathfinding. I think I will. I know I had her run back the other way. I think I will do something else. I don't believe I can make anything happen here, so we're going to accept that. And I do really like archery on sorceresses. I do. I think that you can get a lot of damage out of your elves and your druids. And if I have the archery, it just goes even better. This is a problem, by the way, as you can tell. Well, there's no surprise in what's going on here, obviously. I knew that this would happen. Slows, stone skins, and then they're going to last for 3 turns each. Let's slow. We're going to slow, and then we're going to continue to fight this zombie. This zombie is going to get down the battlefield quicker than anybody else, and we're just going to stay right here, and we're going to wait on top of that. The slow is going to help us isolate these fights. And I keep using that term, if you've noticed. I keep talking about isolating the fights, and what do I mean by that? We isolate fights in a variety of ways. One of the ways that we isolate the fights is by blinding or by mitigating damage, and then that way we're able to swarm one single stack. And then other ways that we can isolate fights is like we can split troops with terrain, and then we can isolate fights by simply flying away from troops, and then like letting our spellcasters use some devastating magics on the enemy. There's lots of different ways that you can mitigate damage. There's lots of different ways that you can isolate these fights. But the principle is always going to be, can you avoid major problems, and can you fight these fights one at a time? All my troops here, we can absolutely kill 1 stack of mutant zombies at a time. That's not a problem. It's when all of the undead kind of swarm onto us, that's where we have some major problems. So we're just trying to avoid swarming at this point. Imagine giving a horse a 2-handed shove and then getting gored right in your stupid little undead face. Not wise. Not wise. I don't know how often that's likely to happen, but that's kind of what happened there. I think that I'm going to slow here, and then we're going to focus in on this dwarf, or excuse me, this mutant zombie there. 1, 2. Unfortunately, this other mutant zombie is going to be able to reach, so maybe we just back off out of reach. 1, 2, 3, 4. All right, here's the only place I can be safe, and then we'll continue to focus this one mutant zombie there. It's getting a little out of hand, but give our shooters as much time as possible to bring them down. and then we'll go from there. It's going to be time to start casting stone skins instead of slows. The enemy has gotten across the battlefield. It's time to save our best troop. With the 10 attack skill against the 2 defense skill, these unicorns are going to be doing 80% bonus damage. That's a lot of bonus damage when you stop and think about it. And trust me, I think about it. We are going to want to keep these Grand Elves safe. We're going to want to avoid extra damage where we can. We're going to start taking hits right now, though. Let's see what happens. Okay. A little bit of attack skill would have gone a long way here. There's no guarantees this fight is going to go the way I want it to, but I hope that these dwarves can go soon. And then maybe I can protect these unicorns a little bit more. It looks like no. If the enemy wants my unicorns, they can get them, and they can get them. We just have to prevent these these mutant zombies from getting off any hits at this point. So right now, let's just go up one step. Darn. I wish I'd known that. We're gonna stay. Well, we're in attacking range. Well, right here, bad, because these mutant zombies can reach. Right here, attacking, good, because these guys were going to be able to hit you anyway. So let's go right there. It's time to start getting some damage off. One unicorn goes down. There's 20. There's 2. Let's just keep working on. If this stack of zombies goes away and I attack them here with these sprites, then these zombies can get to these sprites. Let's not do that. And I wish I could defend my unicorns even better. I really wish I could, but they just are going to start taking some hits. There's not much I can do about it. I don't have a bless. A curse isn't going to help. Stone skin is really my hope. The unicorns are going to be stone skinned for 2 more turns. How much longer is this fight going to go? I think it's going to go for a couple more turns. So I think I need to save that stone skin for later. I do. I think I need to save it for later. And this stack of mutant zombies can reach me next. There's 18 of them. Let's focus on this stack right here. Maybe we'll get some more morale. But so far we're getting some good luck. Stopping in at that fountain was very much worth our time. Let's see what we get here. Yep. The zombies are correctly prioritizing the mutant zombies. They're doing a good job. They're doing everything that they should be doing. If the dwarves stay here and if these mutant zombies do not attack here from this slot, or if they go down, well, if they do anything but stay right here, these mutant zombies are going to get an attack on these unicorns. With 3 hit points left on these unicorns, I think it's going to be too tasty. I think that these mutant zombies are going to stay right there. So we might as well attack. We'll take the retaliation. We lose 1 more unicorn, but then these mutant zombies are probably going to... Oh no, they can go 1, 2. They can step right there. Would I rather lose the sprites or take the extra damage on the unicorns? I think I just need to pump out as much damage as possible. Let's pump out as much damage as possible. And we're going to take just some more hits on these unicorns. Wow, only 2 unicorns left. And these Grand Elves are all jammed up. These mutant zombies cannot get down. If these mutant zombies get down, we're going to be in a world of hurt. Maybe I should have stone-skinned the 8 battle dwarves, because there's just not going to be a whole lot of hit points left on these unicorns very quickly. Do I attack these mutant zombies? I think so. I don't think that there's any sense in trying to save at this point. You just need to do some damage, and really we need to destroy some stacks. These druids have 5 speed. They can run across the battlefield. They can run, shoot. It's going to be very, very slow, but it can be done. And so that's an opportunity that we need to keep our eyes open to. I can always cheese this fight. How many shots left? 2 shots left. Greater druids have 16 shots. Druids only have 2. These druids are actually about to be fairly useless. But still, we will soldier on. And we will try and spring these mutant zombies. We will try and... I think I'm actually going to just stick the dwarves right here and just try and prevent anybody from getting into these Grand Elves. Is the 8 to 16 damage going to matter? Yeah, but how much are they going to retaliate out? Mutant zombies do 24 damage, 31. Yeah, the mutant zombies are going to do at least 40 damage to these dwarves. I think I'm going to do it, though. I'm going to attack. I'll take the retaliation. I lose 2 dwarves. That hurts. That's bad. But now the unicorns are not getting as much attention. And now the sprites can fly here. These grand elves are going to get to shoot next time. We still keep a unicorn. These druids only have 1 shot left. These grand elves have lots of shots left. I think we've done it. I think we're going to stone skin again. It's not a lot of hit points. There's only 60 hit points left of unicorns here. But with 24 mutant zombies left, I think we got this fight won. I do. I think we got this fight won. Let's just focus on our priorities and go from there. In fact, I think that my priority is actually lose 1 more druid to these 12 mutant zombies instead of these unicorns. But it's hard to say. I do have 1 more effective shot. They are kind of an expensive troop. The unicorns have done their job. If I'm not able to get them to the front lines, oh well. We have to skip on the 1 dwarf there, otherwise these mutant zombies can get into the grand elves. This little barrier is tremendous for us. All of our secondary or tertiary units kind of skip. Nothing matters except for keeping these grand elves fully operational. 31 hit points. We're not going to die on the retaliation. Continue to work on this 1 stack because, again, very, very fast troops with 8 shots left. That's actually basically 4 because grand elves shoot twice. It's really worthwhile. It's really worthwhile to have this 6-speed creature, especially against these slow mutant zombies. Otherwise, I recognize that we are out of time. So this 1 dwarf is gone. Let's fly out of the way. Oops, that's very unfortunate. And then let's just get these grand elves out of here. 1, 2, 3, 4. I don't love that. I do not love that. But it's my best chance. I gotta stay away from this big stack here. And then the druids are probably going to go try and stop these mutant zombies from doing too much damage to me. In fact, 1, 2, 3, 4, it doesn't matter. These sprites are going to be useful later, but not right now. And so then we run away 1 more time. Now it's the druid's job to take the retaliations. 1, 2, 3, 4. We can actually attack right here. We can actually attack right here. And then we skip. We attack. Hit and run tactics. Run and shoot. Run and shoot. Use your superior speed. We have 3 more shots left, and we're going to use all of them. Oh, goodness gracious. This is one of those things where if I was against non-undead troops, I would be shaking in my boots. And the reason is because, look, these troops that are going to eventually get good morale, they're going to surprise you, and you're going to just feel dumb when they eventually run up on you and beat you. I don't want that day to be today, but when it does happen, it feels so bad. As it is, we were able to use all of our shots from all of our ranged troops. We were able to keep them fairly healthy, and overall, we were able to come into this graveyard and do, what, 20 times 100, 2,000 points of damage with this army. We lost a lot. We lost a lot here. But we didn't lose. Yeah, that was one of those times where you wouldn't have anywhere near those losses if you had 1 Phoenix. You wouldn't have anywhere near those losses if you had just a couple more ranged troops. And when we talk about making sure you have overwhelming forces to prevent and mitigate those attrition type of losses, this is a perfect example of that. Sure, we won, but we wouldn't have had to have lost all these troops if we had an overwhelming force. We'll take the basic estates. On a secondary hero, sure, why not? That's a good artifact. That's a good artifact. 1,000 gold, not so great. But a +3 to defense for our barbarian hero. We're going to, maybe for the first time ever, have more defense on Ivan than attack skill. That's amazing. And we're going to get that artifact to the front very, very quickly. We're going to sprint there, and Alamar is going to take his basic estates, and he's just going to be very content with himself. All the good stuff that he's done. How far can he get next turn? He can get to only right there. Yeah, it'll still be worth it to come all the way back. Okay, so let's not ever do that again. That was not great. It worked, but it wasn't great. We'll trade over all these troops. I'll give over just one sprite, really. Because, hey, these goblins could go on Jacqueline, and that could be just fine. Troyan's going to head right back to the front. And Alamar now, hey, if we... Oh, I was right. Look at that. Look at that. There's a whirlpool right there. I'm a genius. How did I know? This is one of those times where I say, people will say, Fix Fox, how did you know? And I'll say, I didn't. And this is one of those times where, you know what? I'd rather be a good guesser than anything else. Okay, so we're doing terrific on that. Let's just see what's up here. That Shrine of the First Circle might be good, might not be good. The spell I would really want there would be a magic arrow. Maybe a haste. There's gold. I don't really need gold. I need objectives. I need stuff. I need a town. I need this town. That's what I need. That's what I want. And then Jacqueline's going to back him up. Okay. We still don't have our... Well, we got our gems. We don't have our Mercury or anything like that. But let's continue to get troops up to the front. This is starting to turn into something like a logistical nightmare. A traveling merchant offers you a rabbit's foot made of gleaming silver fur for safe passage. The merchant explains the charm will increase your luck in combat, and as we've seen, morale and luck have been tremendous. It's very easy, I think, to quantify at a glance the value of a bit of attack skill or a bit of defense skill. Very easy to say, yeah, obviously this is useful in this regard, or yeah, this is good for this. It's much more difficult, I believe, to quantify the value of, perhaps, I submit to you, morale and luck, because they are only a percentage chance. They don't work all the time. And so it's very easy, I think, for people who are returning to the game after a long time or new to the game to really value luck and morale. Knowing that, sure, oh yeah, they can of course swing a battle at any given time, but really, to really feel like you love having high luck and high morale, I wonder sometimes, because I've struggled with it myself in the past, understanding the true value that you can get out of luck and morale, especially when you do have high attack skill, having expert luck coming through. Having an extra chance with morale, it's pretty massive. And I think I've had more fights won or lost off of the back of good morale and good luck than I have maybe some amount of attack skill. Okay. Jacqueline's going to pick up all this. It looks like these maps are just winding. It's just winding roads. By the way, this is beautiful though. This is a beautiful map. This is beautiful map design. Winding roads, it's good. It's good, but it is a little difficult logistically to kind of get my mind around, because I'm having to start considering bringing troops all the way up from the back to the front, and it's a long way. It's a long way. Can I beat lots of veteran pikemen? Heck no, I can't. After those zombies, you think I'm wanting to do that? The answer is no. I will take out these mutant zombies though. The writing on this sign is too faded to read. Well, then why'd you put it there? It used to be readable. Yeah, okay, it used to be legible. I do just want to throw out there that I got Earthquake a little bit ago. Very interesting spell. You don't see it all that often. When you do see it, you're like, oh yeah, I know that Earthquake is a spell, but you just don't see it that often. I believe that the icon for that is actually the Necromancer Thieves Guild. Maybe the Necromancer Mansion for the vampires, but you tell me what you think that is. I think that that's the Thieves Guild, personally. I'll have to double check next time I am in a Necromancer town or castle. Here's a choice. Do I upgrade this barbarian town? I do think I do. I think as much as possible I upgrade it, but not at the cost of everything else. I'm out of wood until I get more wood. I'm out of a lot of these other resources. I want to save. I want to save as much of this ore as possible. And getting adobes, getting the bridges is going to take a long time. So this early ore pit was actually pretty important, and I don't regret the decisions that we've made thus far. The only thing that would really make me sad is if, again, an enemy popped out of this whirlpool. That's my biggest threat. Everything else I think is going to work just fine. but that would be my biggest concern. Bloodlust, I guess I'm not upset that I didn't go out of my way for that. It's a good spell. I think I'm starting to get to the point where there's more spells that I would prefer. There's spells I would like more. Taking free experience, lots of Grand Elves. Here's the deal. We have a huge army. Okay, huge is maybe the wrong word. We have a sizable army. We have a ton of hit points. We have a ton of good things going for us here. I wish I had the Vision spell because I would love to recruit lots of Grand Elves into my army for free. What's the likelihood that they want to be recruited, though? I don't know. I do not know. And because I have this route over here I can take instead of going that way, I think I'm going to head this way for now. It's playing it a little bit safer, but I think that's what we're going to do. Let's pick up, actually, let's see, scouting. That's tough. I think that leadership has got a bigger effect size, so we're going to take the leadership for now. Day 7, we have one more purchase we can make here. It's going to be the well. It's only going to be an extra 2 goblins, 2 orcs, and 2 wolves, but it matters. And then on to day 1. Wow. Hey, new month of the dwarf. We have, I think, 6 more months to go before this scenario wraps up. And we've explored, what, a third of the map? Maybe a little bit more. So, month of the dwarf, all populations of the dwarves are doubled. I guess that means here in this town? No, that's lame. It had to be dwarves and not battle dwarves, because my growth is 8 a week, and so I get the same amount. That's lame. It should be more dwarves here, though, and here. I don't think it works like that, but it should. Wow. You know what, though? Hold on. We could use this to our advantage. Can I get back home? I can get back home, so my supply lines are not cut. I have room in my army for dwarves right now. I will hope to jump on top of every single one of these dwarves, and if I get experience from them, great. If they join me, even better. But if I can get 1 or 2 of them to join me, we're going to be doing terrific. That's going to be wonderful. So, we have a job here. Yeah, we need to get this breastplate over. And Troyan is so slow on Swamp. Jacqueline, do me a favor and actually go back and grab that. Be a dear, if you would. Let's not forget our windmill. 2 crystal. And then Ivan's going to continue to push. He doesn't need any other secondary skills, so I'm not going to go out of my way for that Witch's Hut. Maybe we can save these sprites. I don't know if this is a case of the sprites just flying off into their death, but knowing I got these ranged troops, I don't think that these golems need to even touch us. I'm going to make a lot of use of my spacebar, which is my skip button. We're going to skip. And then we're going to accidentally skip 1 too many times, and then our ranged troops are going to forget to go. And then I'm going to be sad, and then I'm going to wish that I hadn't skipped so much. And then we'll send the sprites over to die. That just seems like the perfect strategy. Okay. And then I'm just going to hit Q because this battle's over. There's some uncharted territory there. Let's just take 1 step. Okay. Well, what's down this way? Let's just see what's here. It looks like a windmill. Excuse me, a water wheel. I really want to check out that corner. Maybe there's something in the corner. Or maybe it's just a red herring. Not too sure. Any other purchases? No. The likelihood of me getting this adobe and this bridge are kind of low. I think I still will, but it's kind of low. Adobe, yes. Adobe, yes. Bridge, I've got an ore mine. It's on the table. And the likelihood of me getting 15 more mercury anytime soon is just so bad. I probably will. Unless I can find some other mine, in which case that changes the dynamic. I'm going to plan on that for now. There's 1,000 gold here. How do I get into this little alcove here? If I have to go this way, I'm going to be very sad, but I'm kind of already planning on that being the case. Troyan is just laboring in the swamps. She's so sad to be there. She does not want to be there. I'm going to continue to recruit druids knowing I'm going to have to pay for them later. I've got plenty of gold right now. I'm not going to worry about that. I am going to get rid of these centaurs just because they keep making these logistics a little bit slower. Then we're going to send these guys out. Again, eventually, maybe I can come back and I can pick up all these dwarves. It'd be a lot easier if I had the vision spell, though. It'd be a lot easier. The vision spell is the spell that will let you know if some enemy troops want to fight you or not. That'd be pretty useful right now, I think. Because then I could figure out, well, what kind of hero should I send after there? Did you see that? I almost missed that through the darkness. There is an artifact right there, but I completely almost missed it. I missed this one. Wow, there's a patch of gold right here. Look at this. I walked right by it. So hitting V sometimes, just every now and again, it can be very useful. What's over here? There's an artifact right here. Look at that. I missed that artifact too. Oh my goodness. Okay, well, what's this artifact? Well, the Seeing Eye Pendant for 2,000 gold? I mean, it's 2,000 gold. I got plenty of gold, so yeah, I'll do that. But it's a little bit frustrating. I've got good eyesight. I think that anybody would miss that. I really do. And okay, I shouldn't say I've got good eyesight. Otherwise, my dear sweet wife is gonna just yell at me from off screen. No, you don't. Remember to set up an appointment with the eye doctor. And she's right. But being able to hit the letter V is as the current hotkey just to view this world map, or alternatively going into your options here in the bottom right and just clicking on this map here. That does a lot. That does a lot to kind of help us figure out what we ought to do. If I could go back and do this all over again, I would have gone this way. And here's why. Stables, easier for all troops to travel on, and then it looks like it might have been an easier way to get to this alchemist lab. As it stands, I think I can go through the swamp here into the dirt area and then go that way. It'll be fine, but if I could have made that choice again a little bit differently, I would have. Do I get the bridge? I probably will. I'm going to wait on that though, because I want to see if... Hold on. Yes, we did. I was worried I didn't bring that artifact over. The reason why I'm going to wait is because I think I'm close to getting more free resources, and I would like the free resources if I could get them. You find an elaborate container which houses an old vellum scroll. The runes on the container are very old, and the artistry with which it was put together is stunning. As you pull the scroll out, you feel imbued with magical power. And it looks like it is... Oh, Fireball. Fireball's a good spell. I like to have at least one AoE spell if at all possible. It's gonna be a good spell. Ivan can actually use it, maybe not too well, with 20 spell power. But he does have 15 or 30 knowledge. 30 spell points at maximum anyway is what I'm trying to say there. Gold or experience, I don't know what else I'm going to spend my gold on at the moment. So I might as well take experience where it makes the most sense. Let's do the archery. Our elves and our druids are going to be doing very good work for us. So we're going to do that. And we're going to continue to clear this out. We do have plenty of time, I do believe. And there's those resources. It's still a very, very small shipment. I was wondering if it would get more and more over time. It looks like it does not. However, that does get us closer to our main goals. And this sulfur is actually helping out a lot because eventually we're going to be able to use that to trade for some resources too. Let's actually get... Is there any point in getting the marketplace right now? No, there's not, because we have the other trading post and it always trades at a rate of 3 times of a marketplace. The more marketplaces you get in your kingdom, of course, you trade at a better rate. It's not going to matter because unless we get a 3rd or 4th town, we're always going to use the trading post here. We continue. We're going to resupply on the road. And I guess we do have this choice for Ivan once he comes back around. Are we going to try and go through this area? It looks like it will all join up. I suppose we might as well. We do have a pretty good army. So let's just clear all this out. Let's take the time and just make sure that there's nothing special hiding in the jungle, hiding in the swamp. I suppose this is more swamp than jungle. Interesting map, though. Interesting map. I was talking with Zents from the FHeroes2 team, and he was mentioning in a comment that map design with a time limit is very difficult to do right. And I thought he brought up some great points. He specifically was mentioning how with Uncle Ivan, for example, we were able to find Uncle Ivan much quicker than the time limit allotted for. And if your time limit does not provide any sort of challenge, then why have it there in the first place, right? And so you want to make sure that you got something that makes sense as far as a reasonable time limit. And then also you have some potential concerns where maybe you need to decide, well, do we make it just this kind of long slog where the time limit becomes effective only because I'm slowing you down with logistical weirdness at the cost of making the game fun? Maybe that wasn't a point that he was specifically making, but it was a point that as I was talking to him kind of came to mind. And it's just kind of very interesting to me to think anyway. How exactly would you make a map that's engaging but also has a good time limit? And I think that maybe the answer is it's got to be short. It's got to be punchy. It's got to be very quick. It's got to be a small map that will then be able to have a very short time limit, like, hey, finish this map in 2 weeks. And then that way, that sense of time really kind of carries over in a meaningful way. And I think that we actually saw that in the Price of Loyalty campaign, the one where you have the choice to go down the 3 different lanes, might, magic, or numbers, those 3 different paths, because that was a very small map and it did have a time limit, and the time limit absolutely mattered. Absolutely it did. If I could have gotten that just a little bit sooner, that would have been great. That would have been so good because we're going to get our Phoenixes basically now, and it would have been tremendous. It would have been so wonderful if we just could have gotten an extra week's worth of those Phoenixes. As it stands, no harm, no shame. This gives Alamar plenty of time to get back to that trading post. Okay. But we are going to start making Phoenixes, and I think that that's going to be a big deal. Even if we don't send them down to our troops anytime soon, having them accrue over time is going to be very, very meaningful. A fierce windstorm reveals the entrance to a buried tomb. Your investigation reveals that the tomb has already been looted, but the thieves overlooked an ankh on a silver chain in the dark. So resurrect and animate spells will be doubled in their effectiveness. I will get the mutant zombies and the ammo cart. The ammunition cart in the middle of an old battlefield catches your eye. Inspection shows it to be in good working order, so you take it along. So all of our troops are never going to run out of shots. That would have been important for this battle over here at the graveyard. Remember, we were running out of shots and that was a little bit of an issue? Yeah, not going to be an issue anymore for Ivan. And let's see, Troyanne can go. Oh, I think she's gone about as far as she can go. She can get to here next turn, and then we will go from there. Everybody else just needs to go. As far as this barbarian town, we had talked about getting the bridge, and then I completely had forgotten. Ultimately, though, I think that worked out well because I would have just actually... Yeah, no, it would have been close, but I still would have had enough ore for the red tower and the bridge. So that was a mistake. My bad. My bad. Let's get the bridge now. And we need not compound our mistakes by doing nothing to fix it. All this is going to go over here, and let's just trade over right there. Somehow Troyanne keeps getting these orcs and these goblins, and somehow these poor orcs and goblins are thinking to themselves, buddy, I don't care who I'm with, just leave me with somebody. Don't keep making me go back and forth. You enter a rickety hut and talk to the magician who lives there. He tells you of places near and far which may aid you in your journeys. Oh, okay. So, Aqua Barrier. There's a boat. There's a new town. Whirlpool. Maybe we get as far as we can, and then we will just shuttle troops through the... We will shuttle troops through the whirlpool. It's going to hurt, though. Whirlpools make you lose some of your troops as you go through. I don't love that proposition, but I suppose we have to do what we have to do. Somebody will have time to pick up this gold, but right now we're going to bust through these elves, and if they join us, great. If they don't, well, they're going to die. No other purchases to make at this time, and off we go. Alamar is my next big important thing. He has to get to this trading post, before the new week, he will. And then slowly but surely, we are getting ahead, even though we have no income whatsoever. I don't think I need to lose 20 sprites here, so I'm just not going to. I've said it before and I'll say it again. Moby Dick, the book about Ahab the captain and the white whale and the epic struggle between man versus nature and all that. I love that there's a point where one of the crewmen, he's on his deathbed and they're getting ready for him to pass away and they're all very, very sad. And then one morning he just wakes up and he says, "All right, let's go back to work." And they said, "I thought you were dying." He's like, "Yeah, I just chose not to." And they're all dumbfounded by that. And for some reason, that has always stuck with me, even though it's been a long time since I've read that book. That moment has always stuck with me. And I love that because then it's like, well, yeah, just if you're dying, just in some cases, maybe you just say, "Hey, I just refuse." Not always does that work, by the way, but sometimes that might just work. And that was an instance where we said, "I refuse to let those 20 sprites die." And there you go. This summoned boat. Yeah. And that's probably not going to be for Ivan. That's probably going to be for Troyan. Troyan needs to come back. Troyan has a spell book. Troyan has navigation. Troyan can go through the maelstrom. Troyan is going to be useful. And whether she realizes it or not, she has a task at hand. Oh, that was a mistake. Okay, I'm still going to be able to get to the trading post, but I thought for a second that I might have cost myself some issues. Okay, these elves, please join me. Just come along. Join our merry bunch of men. It didn't have to be this way. It didn't have to be this way. I understand, though. We've all done things under duress, under pressure. It's just so sad. So what's the best thing we can do here? Well, all of their troops are going to get to go. And then I'm going to get to go. Probably a stone skin. I wasn't really paying attention. Who took the most damage? And more than that, who do I care to defend the most? I probably want to lose as few of my druids as possible. And so, for some reason, I think that they attacked all my grand elves. But why would you do that? I think I care more about my druids long term than I do about my grand elves. So this is probably the wrong choice, in the sense that if I'm smart enough to know what the hero's AI is going to do, maybe I should have stone skinned these greater druids. Nope, never mind. I made the right choice. For some reason, I thought that they were all going to attack my grand elves instead of my druids, and I'm happy I chose right. And I don't feel bad about that at all. And I think you can hear it in my voice and you can see it in my face that, nope, that wasn't just me playing to the camera. That was me absolutely like laboring with the decision and feeling very happy that it came out the right way. Because this lets us take all this reduced damage here. We lose some sprites, sure, but that turned out very, very well. Maybe that turned out the exact way it was going to turn out before. I don't know. Let's take the luck instead of the scouting. I like the luck a lot for all the reasons we talked about previously, but we will take all that there. We're going to go here. It's time to make a tough decision. 4 unicorns is a couple of unicorns, but it's not a ton of unicorns. I think that we're going to save the unicorns. I think I'd rather have 39 dwarves who are slowing down my whole army. $1,100 movement points a day. 1,320. You get an extra 220 movement points a day. That adds up. We're going to do that. No, we're not going to do that. We're not going to do that. And here's why. Here's why. We might run into dwarves that might join us. If I have a slot available for them, then I want Ivan to be able to get them. And for that reason, we're going to keep the slow dwarves, even though they're slow. Slow dwarves are slow. But golly, if I can just get them into my army, I'll feel much better. Remember, this is now the time for Alamar to shine. We need 3 mercury. Count it 1, 2, 3. And we have a sulfur mine already, so 1, 2, 3 is not going to hurt us too bad. we're now going to go here and get our red tower. And I don't know, let me know from anybody that has played through this scenario recently or is about to, if you think that that was a reasonable time to get the Phoenixes. Maybe I could have been more aggressive with my resource trading, and maybe I could have gotten it 1 week earlier, but I don't think that the margin was that much. I think that asking to get the red tower sooner than just 1 week earlier, or more than 1 week earlier than I did, I think that that's too much of an ask. It's possible, but I think it's very, very unlikely. I think it's very, very unlikely. Why do my sprites keep flying into their death? Hard to say. I really just need to hold them back. They are so impetuous. They are so ready to do battle. And I just have to remind them, look, they serve who only stand and wait. What is the quote by Chaucer? The famous author. They serve who also stand and wait, who only stand and wait. The idea being that even if you're not called upon to do something, just being there and being ready, though your day has not come, you still were worthy, you still served honorably. Specifically, it usually talks about military, and I think it's meant to talk to those who have a desire to serve and to defend those that they love and their people, but who don't get called into action. And I think that the concept is you were good, your service mattered. I think that was the effect that he was going for. It's been a minute. I don't consider myself particularly well read, despite the fact that I've referenced in one playthrough here both Moby Dick and Chaucer. I just have somewhat of an eclectic knowledge. I'm college educated, but again, would I consider myself well read? Not compared to, well. Perhaps I'm comparing myself to my family, who I consider to be very well read, very smart, and as I've mentioned in previous videos, tremendously wonderful Heroes of Might and Magic players. I think I've mentioned that I don't consider myself to be the absolute best at Heroes of Might and Magic at everything in my family. There's some people in my family, my dad, for example, who is tremendous at logistics. He will run circles around you logistically. He would have this map solved in no time. Like a Rubik's Cube, he would break this thing down to its very base function and just twist it in a way that works for him. And then my brother, in battle, will knock your socks off, and good luck eking out a victory against him. He will find every advantage. He will use it against you, and you will walk away from that battle saying, if I'd done things differently. But then deep down, there's a part of you that knows, nuh-uh, he had that stitched up in a lot of ways. So, I think that we all probably experience that, comparing ourselves to other people, loved ones, family, friends. Sometimes it's absolutely the wrong decision to make unless you use that as examples for how you can improve. And I do look to them on how I can improve, not only in things like Heroes of Might and Magic, but also in life. And so when I mentioned about being well-read, my family I consider to be very, very well-read. I less so, and yet I'm competent, and I'm happy with the knowledge that I do have, and I'm still working on getting even more. As it stands here in this battle, though, this is a little bit of a tough one. If I slow down some druids, they're going to go down from 5 speed down to 3, and then my sprites can get across the battlefield. I actually think that that's about the best I can do. 30 points of damage, 1 druid is not going to be that great. We are going to take out these greater druids. If I slow, that might be the best thing for me. Or maybe I do another stone skin. Let's actually do that. Let's stone skin here. Well, I would rather keep my druids alive than my grand elves. Although, every druid that dies is less druids that I have to upgrade later. That'll save me money. I still think that the druids, I may never get these druids upgraded, unfortunately. And that hurts. That hurts my heart, but that's probably a possibility I have to just accept. Let's work on... if I attack one of these groups, like this group that's not gone yet, I will kill all 7, and then the sprites are going to have to jam up this group. I think that'll be okay, because my greater druids are going to be faster than these druids. Excuse me, my grand elves will be faster than these regular druids, and that'll work out fine. I don't think that there's a whole lot of things I could have done in this fight to make it go a whole lot better, but I think we did everything we could, and the stone skin was probably the biggest thing. Maybe a stone skin right there would have been actually the best, just to save some of those sprites. Darn. Okay, so 9 sprites, 2 druids. That was not a tiny battle, but we have a crystal mine now. Oh, we have a crystal mine now. Huh. I feel like I need to send another hero up that way, and so I will. It's going to be Astra. Navigation might be good later, so we're going to use her, and we're going to send her with 1 wolf. This barbarian town is starting to get some troops, by the way. It's starting anyway. Let's send her... Oh, well, let's see. We're going to get 1 more wolf. And she's going to go to here. Jacqueline's still going to go back because she can go through the swamp easiest. And then here, Troyan is going to wait for Astra to drop some troops off to her. And we're just going to probably end up getting rid of these orcs and these goblins. I'll send Astra back. It'll take me a little bit more time. Really, I just want a secondary hero here, so Ivan doesn't have to be the one to clean everything up, and just save those bonus movement points. 20 additional wood. About darn time. We'll go here. Astra will go back, drop off the wolves, and then she can continue on her way. I think I meant to do that before. We'll do it now. Windmill. And back. Continue on. Troyan is going to get my summon boat. And remember that Ivan also has summon boat, so if he ever gets into a sticky situation, he can use it later. He can absolutely use it later. Dwarves. Wow, look at all these dwarves. This way looks nice. This way has an alchemist lab. Let's go this way. 63 battle dwarves up to 125, my word. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. The Heart of Ice and the Heart of Fire, interesting to see them both here on the battlefield. Essentially, they would just negate each other's effects, I believe. Because it's like, well, you take 50% reduced damage from fire spells, but you take 50% increased damage from cold, and then you just cancel it out with this Heart of Ice that does the same thing, just reversed. Seems a little silly for me to have both of them on the board at the same time, but here we go. And then, oh, look, a Alchemist Tower, all the same, just to get rid of those artifacts you didn't really want in the first place. I think that my next army is going to come this way. It's going to come this way. I'm glad I got the Alchemist Lab, but I think we're going to have to start getting troops into this other direction. And since we have the Phoenixes, I think we can do it now. Before, maybe not so much. Now, I think absolutely. So let's see. All these troops, all these troops, all these troops. Alamar's out of movement points, so we're going to wait 1 more turn, but it's going to be his job to take this Mercury and upgrade the druids into greater druids. I don't love it, but that's going to be the best choice for me, I think. So let's do that. Ivan continues to roll. Oh, there's something right here. Dwarves. I didn't even realize that there were dwarves right there. Let's hit V for view map. What else am I missing? Look what I've missed. Gold. I'm missing all this stuff. It's just hidden. It's hidden. My eyes are cheated by some spell. And so there's gold here I forgot about. Here. And then gold here. It's inexplicable. Inexplicable. Well done, game designer. The dwarves want to run. We're not going to let them. I'm getting tired of fighting these fights, honestly. I'm getting a little tired of fighting these fights. I need some kind of way to keep my sprites back and just say, don't you do it. and then continue to fight the fight all the same. I think that at this point, though, I can hit Q and I will lose none. So I do. Okay. And since I'm right here, I might as well clean out this whole thing. Leadership or ballistics? The difference between expert leadership and advanced leadership is not as great as the difference between the advanced ballistics and the expert ballistics, because expert ballistics gives you full damage on all of your shots. So we will take the ballistics over the leadership, even though leadership applies in more situations. Jacqueline continues to go back. And now Alamar has enough mercury, because we picked up some more, to get the Stonehenge and get the Phoenixes. So we're going to purchase out this town, everybody but the sprites. And so for that reason, I'm actually not going to just hit the purchase all button. And then we'll go down like that. And this is looking like a pretty good army. This army can absolutely deal with... It can deal with dwarves. It can deal with dwarves. Do I want it to deal with dwarves? No. We will send them into these pikemen. That'll be sufficient. Good map so far. Let's just remind everybody where we're at. Gain the favor of the elves. They will not allow trees to be chopped down, so they will send you wood every 2 weeks. You must complete your mission before the first day of the 7th month, or the kingdom will surely fall. So by the end of month 6, we have to be there. Am I feeling a time pressure at the moment? Not really. But still, we got to keep track of that. And we did get, in the very, very beginning, a little note that indicated that we need to find the golden bow. That is how we will gain the favor of the elves. So we're almost to the halfway point of this scenario. I'm feeling pretty good. There's some more resources. I wish I didn't trade for resources now, but so be it. Troyan continues to head this way. Astra is finally going to pick up this little patch of gold. It's gold. Sure, why not? And then, oh, let's just fight these dwarves. Maybe they'll give us some experience. 580, sure, why not? Expert wisdom, sure, why not? I don't need these spells. Pathfinding, though. There's pathfinding right there. Who knows if Alamar is going to need that in the future. He might. I think because he fought that graveyard battle so well, Alamar is my best secondary hero. And so I'm happy for him to get everything he needs. Jacqueline's going to drop these troops off, and then she's going to continue on her way. More dwarves. Maybe they'll join. They do not. You know what? If the sprites want to die, let them. View artifacts. Let's cast that now, actually. Looks like there's tons of artifacts left to be had. Lots of artifacts left to be had. Is there even... Hold on. Wait a second. Is there even an enemy here? It's just me. For some reason, this whole time, I thought that there was like some enemy in the darkness I might have to worry about. No, bro. This is just you. This is an RPG map. Oh dear. Knowledge cannot be overstated in its importance. So, I'm glad at least now we have the appropriate knowledge. Let's continue. A horde of nomads is actually a lot of nomads. I've just got a really good army. 1 battle dwarf, that seems about right. The dwarves do run. 7 more sprites go down. Oh boy. 15 sprites. I think... Ooh, there's a jail there. That's interesting. I want Astra to figure out for me what's over here. I want Alamar to go as far as he can. And then Jacqueline will do just this little drop off. I'll take 1 dwarf. And then send the rest of these this way. So she'll go back because she can go through the swamp. For 15 sprites, which is better, 15 sprites or the possibility of getting some Medusas? I'm going to take the Medusa. I've got lots of gold. Let's just do this now. 14 Medusa. That's a good army. It's a good army. I think I'm just going to come right on through here. I don't want to spend the spell points again to cast View Artifacts, but it's a good thing to just kind of figure out where all of my possible artifacts are. This seems like the appropriate way forward. But this won't hurt me to just go out of my way just a little bit. Just a little bit. Dwarves still continue to not like me. And then really my attention is turning over here to Alamar because he is going to be a little bit of a question mark. Is Alamar going to be able to deal with everything that comes his way? I don't know. I just don't know. Cyclops, yes or no? We can trade for the crystal. Have we seen any other castles? I mean, there's this town here that we're going to want to upgrade. and it's actually looks like it's within range. Let's not trade at this time. I've got the Phoenixes. The Phoenixes are going to be my main fight, and then the stack of dwarves is tremendous. It's magnanimous. We will let the dwarves carry us. We don't need Cyclops. We're not going to worry about them for now. Whoops. I walked a little too far out of my way. And back to here. Let's hit the letter V again, just to make sure there's nothing crazy here. What is that? Oh, it's the Heart of Ice. Okay. Astra's going to wait just out of range here. And she's going to help continue on our way there and help clear out some more items. Troyan is going to head back, because if Troyan is able to cast the summon boat and it ends up being important, that will be very nice to have her in position. Lots of pikemen. Perfect. And we will take the diplomacy instead of the ballistics there, just because I don't think it'll really matter. And then I'm actually going to consider taking experience for Alamar. Experience at this point for him is going to be useful, because everything that he does will be on his own with that army. He's not going to get any resupplies. Any resupplies are going to go to my other hero. It's going to go to Uncle Ivan. And so he's on his own at this point. Alamar, I built you up like you were going to be my game changer. You were going to be the guy that made everything pop and flash and happen, and it just didn't work out, and I'm so sorry, because this ended up being a nothing. I should have gotten this little alcove forever ago. As it stands, I'm happy to see that I can pick up some dwarves. It'll take a while. As Troyan walks by, she will go and grab these really, really slow dwarves, and these ones too for that matter. And then otherwise, we're going to make the long trek with Alamar back. Okay, we do pick up view mines here though. There's a gem mine right there. Ooh. There's one mine that has not been claimed, and that is that gem mine. Otherwise, we have ore here, mercury here, sulfur here, gems here, and that's it. That's it. So there's one of each. No sawmill, but ore, sulfur, crystal, mercury, gems. Yeah, no sawmill, but one of each of everything else. There's my gem mine. Go get it, Ivan. Go get it, boy. Go get it. I'll accept those losses. I shouldn't have even messed around with it. Let's have her go here. There's another view mine spell. Terrific. Might as well pick up the halfling. 79. I'm for it. And then Astra's going to go next, and she's going to go this way just to make sure there's nothing here in the shadows. I do see this jail. It could be great. It could be bad. It won't be bad, but it might not be a great hero. The jail, this is the first time that we've seen the jail actually here in our playthroughs. The jail is a wonderful addition with the Price of Loyalty expansion campaigns. And it allows you to step on it and pick up a brand new hero. Somebody who could be, just a level 1 hero with level 1 troops, or it could be a hero that has some tremendous artifacts, stats, skills. It could be great, and you're not going to know until you step on it. But it is a hero that will join you. You free them from the jail. We will read it once we get there, but it'll be very, very nice to just kind of see what we're up against, what we get from there very, very soon. Yeah, we're burning through this map. I don't think we're going to have any problem with completing this before the end of our time limit. Really, this might be one of those maps where a speedrunner will say to themselves, hey, how quickly can I beat this map? And this is a place where they can save a lot of time. As you can tell, I'm not trying to save time. If I was to speedrun this game, I think I would lose my mind. I really do. And I suppose that this is a reasonable moment to just discuss that for 1 second. I enjoy Heroes of Might and Magic 2. I love Heroes of Might and Magic 2. I love it for a lot of reasons, and one of the reasons is because it's relaxing. I don't play Heroes of Might and Magic 2 to be competitive. If I wanted to play a competitive game, I would go back to any number of those games that just ate my life when I was younger. When the internet came out and you could play against other people, there was a lot of competition, and it was fun for a time. And really, I've gotten away from that. I've really tried to get away from the model of game design where there's loot boxes or crates, where there's just a ladder or a ranking system, and, you know, even games where there's, you know, teams. Single player games are just fine. And I'm not playing to beat anybody. I'm not playing to outdo anybody. And so I got no problem occasionally doing a friendly challenge where we see, oh, you know, hey, I did this, I did that. Ultimately, I'm not looking to pit my skills against somebody else. I think I will equip myself quite nicely. Don't confuse this for me saying I'm not competitive, because I'm very competitive, and that's the problem, is I've been trying to get away from that for most of my adult life. I've tried to get away from that. Your wanderings bring you into contact with a tribe of ape-like beings using a magical lava rock that never cools to light their fire. So you take pity on them and teach them to make fire with sticks, believing you to be a god. The apes give you their rock. This will make sure that my fire spells do 50% more damage to enemy troops. But yeah, I've really actually worked on trying to be more humble and not focus so much on being competitive. And just Heroes of Might and Magic 2 is not a game that I would recommend kind of what's the term? Min-maxing. It's not the kind of game I'd recommend that you play competitively. There's lots of other games that are there for competitiveness. That's just not the way I view Heroes. If that is the way that you view Heroes, great, go for it. All my love, all my respect to you. Have so much fun with this game in whatever way makes the most sense to you. That's just not the way that this game makes the most sense fun-wise to me. So, again, I could be competitive. I choose not to be. Okay, we have Gallivant the Knight, level 3. This is very interesting because this is a price of loyalty portrait that you don't see in the base level game. And it's weird that he's just, this portrait's on this random hero here in this jail. What is he doing here? You would think that this fun little portrait that they made extra would be for somebody of great importance. I'm just not seeing it. I'm glad to have him in my cadre of apt and able generals, and yet, why are you here? All the same. Nice to have him. Oh, I should have read that. Don't worry, there's one more prison that we can read, and so I'm actually going to send Gallivant that way. I think he's got a big enough army. He could probably defeat... How many? A horde? Oh my goodness, a horde of veteran pikemen. That might be a little bit more than I want to handle just with him. How about this? Do I trade? Let's see. How do I do this? How do I do this? I want this town. It's day 6. Let's send Astra up this way just so I can kind of understand a little bit better what I'm up against. Lots of dwarves. There's also additional troops there. I just think a horde of veteran pikemen is a lot. Let's focus on our priorities, and then we'll go back down. Maybe this whirlpool is not going to be that big of a deal. It is going to be the way that you can resupply, but again, at the cost of losing troops, because every time you go through the whirlpool, some of your troops fall overboard. Yeesh. Ugh, not very nice. Alamar has done his job. He needs to go back. Witch's Hut. Knowledge. There we go. There we go. Okay, day 7. And we are going to pick up this second sorceress town. I will lose the one druid, and I will absolutely upgrade this from a town into a castle. There are 36 sprites we can buy, and otherwise this is a clean slate. And I anticipate that in the next little bit, we're going to get all the troops we need. This boat, it looks like you just have to go around to get it. I'm going to, for now... I think you can summon a boat. I think you can just summon a boat, even though you've never been in it. So long as the enemy hasn't been in it, it's considered neutral. I never thought that before. I thought that you had to actually have that boat under your control at least once. I didn't think you could just walk through it. I was wrong, and I'm happy to be wrong. Someone pointed that out to me. I appreciate correction. I appreciate people with additional insight. I am all for it. Never stop giving me that correction. And if there's things that you see that I do wrong or different, or you have questions, or you think that there might be a better way, I'm all for it. I'm not going to catch feelings about it, and I love to get additional information again about this great game. I'm going to move these halflings over here. There's room in this army. I might as well use it, and then Gallivant can maybe take on. Oh, he can clear out all this. I think so. I was being a little bit cautious with his troops. I don't think I need to be cautious. Week of the Hornet. And even though this boat is here, I think that the main path probably doesn't go this way. It probably goes up this way. And so Gallivant is going to turn back around, take out these swordsmen, and then he will work on those nomads. His army is not gigantic. Does he have a spellbook? He does not, but 3 attack, 3 defense. He should be doing fine. I will prioritize saving the rangers over these halflings, but I will keep the paladins kind of here in the middle of the battlefield, just so that way they can respond either up or down. The champions have such a fast speed, such a wide range that they can respond wherever they need to, whenever they need to. Oh boy. We're still going to attack these master swordsmen. And then should we put ourselves in danger? 1, 2, 3, 4 of these swordsmen. Somebody's going to have to. Somebody's going to have to put themselves in danger. And I don't want to just abandon 79 halflings. So let's get into the fray. I don't love this way that I've put this fight out for myself, but at this point, I don't think that there's any way of stopping taking some damage. Let's see. I think I'd rather keep my Crusaders than my champions, but I would like to keep at least one set of champions, or at least one champion no matter what. Looks like these Crusaders are way tougher than I gave them credit for. Way tougher than I gave them credit for. They still have 23 hit points left, and they just took 2 major swipes from some swordsmen. Oh my gosh, Crusaders are incredible. It's a very small sample size, but very incredible. Very happy to see that. Whoa, hordes of nomads? Maybe I don't want hordes of nomads. Maybe that's just a little too much. Ooh, yeah, horde? Maybe not a horde. Let's just go back here. I'm sure that Gallivant can help kind of clear out all this other stuff. And then these other troops are going to continue to head back and forth. Nothing doing there. Head back there. And then Jacqueline is just hurrying her little legs as fast as she can and doing a good job of it. I forgot for a second we do need to upgrade this town. And I think I can get all of the dwellings in 1 week. Not, if I just put some concerted effort down on that. I think I already got this well. I definitely did there. Look at all those. Look at all those enemies we took out without a single loss. My word. Logistics. Terrific. Druids. 1 single stone skin here is going to save a lot of hit points. Let's just do that. Right there. And then from here, I think I might even just hit Q and let the battle end. That's the place I can save the most damage. I think I've done my duty. Can I kill all 8? I will kill all 8. Yeah, let's just hit Q and let the battle finish from there. Okay, that's fine. It was about the same as it would have been before anyway. And then we can just flood into this area and just see if it's worth it to continue in this direction. A horde of air elementals. My word, it's just so many. Aqua barrier, blue barrier. I'm guessing that the blue barrier is somewhere in here, and it's going to make us go back again. There's a lot to be done on this map still. I think that I have this map in hand, but I'm starting to feel like maybe a little bit of that time pressure. Because if it takes me too long to really push forward, I'll be a little concerned. I'll be a little bit concerned. Right out of the gate here, let's just upgrade these dwarves. I think that they're going to make it to my final battle. I don't think I'm going to make troops travel this long way anymore. I'm going to just take the losses and go through the whirlpool. I know that there's a trick. I know that there is a trick, but what the trick is, I don't recall. But there's a trick where you can... Oh my goodness, look at that. You can use some trick of the... way that you arrange your troops to lose as few troops as possible. What that way is, though, I just don't recall. I do not recall. I think I've already got Disrupting Ray. I do not. So we're going to pick that up. I don't care about that other spell with the View Towns. That just told me everything I needed to know. This is going to add Mass Bless. Oh, what a good spell. Oh, what a good spell. We're going to fight this fight again because with Mass Bless, which we're going to cast immediately, we're going to be cruising through this fight. I don't expect to take any more losses pretty much ever again. Look at that. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. Did you see that? Double rainbow all the way across the sky. Huh. That is so wonderful. Huh. It actually makes my heart feel good to see that happen. So, let's see. Air Elementals do get the shot off. A little bit sad here, but we should take out these 16 here. We took out most of them anyway. And so we will take a few losses here, but overall, hey, that fight was worth it just to get to see the Grand Elves have good luck on their first attack and then good luck on their second attack. Very nice to see. We did take some less losses as well. Okay, everybody just needs to continue along their way. Alamar, what are you doing? What are you doing? Don't throw your life away, son. It's just not worth it. And then let's see. Wow, the troops just get just more and more. But I think that these secondary heroes, they might end up being valuable later. I'm just not going to know until later. So let's go here. I'll lose the one there. I'm really just here for the jail right now. Eventually I'm going to bust through that Aqua barrier, but for now I do need to go north. And so it's going to be Astra that lets us read what the jail says here. Okay. In a dazzling display of daring, you break into the local jail and free the hero imprisoned there, who, in return, pledges loyalty to your cause. This is Natasha, and Natasha, she's got a pretty good army. Do you think she's got a good army? I think she's got a good army. Does she have any spells, by the way? She's got Bless. Okay, that's about what I would have expected. That's a pretty darn good resupply. I know that I am going to have an issue with doubling up the druids and the druids and the greater druids, but I think that this might be my excuse to take the boat through the whirlpool, go home, and then just resupply troops. I think that that's what we're going to do here. Let's get Gallivant out of the way. Oh, and I've been forgetting to upgrade my town here. No. What's the quickest way to the Red Tower? Fenced Meadow, Stonehenge, Mage Guild. We need the Mage Guild. We don't even need the dwarves. Ignore the dwarves. Just go straight for that, and we might make it just in time to get Phoenixes here. In fact, let me do that first thing right now. Stonehenge. Clicking like a madman, as if clicking faster makes my clicks more meaningful, more impactful. Let's move over all these troops here. Let's move these dwarves back. Let's move these there and these there. And so then Natasha's going to go through the whirlpool and then continue on her way. And we're going to accept some losses. We understand that. I don't know. Maybe if it works in some special way. Maybe it's the weakest troops you have get lost first. And so if you split off just one dwarf, maybe you lose just one dwarf. Is that the trick? There's a trick. And it feels unintuitive, but hey, I know that there is a trick at least. If somebody knows what the trick is, please let me know. To lose as few troops as possible going through the whirlpool. Because now I'm a little sad that I just can't recall off the top of my head. Okay, on to another day. Whirlpool issues, Fenced Meadow here, and then tomorrow on day 7 we will pick up our Red Tower. And so we lose the dwarves because we were negligent in upgrading our town. We will be fine all the same, and we have no problems in that regard. Okay. We will continue to put these halflings on Gallivant. He's going to slowly but surely pick up a huge stack of these other troops. Let's get Alamar slept. Let's get Jacqueline finally up to the front. She's going to get here just in time to say, wait a second, are we just going through the whirlpool these days? Is that all I needed to do? Is that all you needed me for? There's a hill fort. Let's actually have Astra go back, because I don't need to needlessly upgrade these 37 dwarves. Actually, all these dwarves over here, I didn't even need to upgrade now, it looks like. But we did. And that's fine. I don't really care about the treasure. I don't really care about the gold. I do care about the artifact. Maybe the dwarves will join me. They don't. I guess they don't have room. You see a silver axe embedded deeply in the ground. After several unsuccessful attempts by your army to remove the axe, you tightly grip the handle of your axe and effortlessly pull it free. That is a +2 to attack skill. Let's see. Hill fort there. Rocks there. Okay. Okay, no problem. We're fine here. Okay. And before we do anything sad, let's pick up our... Don't do this to me. Don't do this to me. I know better. Let's pick up our red tower. Now, what's the problem here? See if you can spot the problem. Go ahead. I'll wait. We don't have the well. And so we're going to still get phoenixes, but it's going to be so many less phoenixes than if we did have the well. It disproportionately affects the amount of troops you get, because, I mean, 2 extra phoenixes is definitely more impactful than 2 extra sprites. But still, we got the red tower. I don't have many regrets about that. Should I do this? It's going to take me 1 full extra day. Oh, you know what? Before we sail through here, we're just going to go right near the ocean, and Astra will do a little bit of a pickup there, and that'll be fine. Let's stand on the windmill. We'll get a couple more resources next week, and then head through here. We destroy all these rocks. Wait a second. Hold on. Shut the front door. Did we pick up a barrier somewhere? Am I going crazy? Wait a second. Hold on. Is there a tent right here? There's got to be like a tent or something. Hold on. Where's my blue barrier? Is my blue barrier right there? And my aqua barrier's right there? Did I just barely miss the aqua? I mean, where else would it be? I'm missing a tent that will let me go through the barrier that will let me get this tent. It's gotta be somewhere in the darkness, or the whirlpool goes to here and to one other place. That's the only other thing I can think of. That's the only other thing I can think of. And that makes me very concerned, because I thought that this was going to be a direct path into like a victory zone. There's no victory to be had here. No, sir. No, sir. Is there any other way to get through there? No, that's it. That's the way to get through. This could have been very bad. We're talking about a game that has time limits, and all of a sudden you're telling me that maybe you made a mistake a while ago that's going to cost you the game. I don't think it's actually going to cost me the game, but it sure could have. I'm catastrophizing. We should stop that. Okay. On to another day. New week. Wilfrey will continue. Yeah, if there's not a tent right there, I don't know where it is, because everything else looks like it's been explored. I'll feel a lot less dumb if it's through this whirlpool, though. We're not going to know for a little bit longer, though. As it stands, rumors of a griffin of unusual size preying upon the countryside leads you to its cave lair. A quick, brutal fight dispatches the beast, and a search of its foul nest turns up a huge black pearl. That's going to be +2 knowledge, +2 power. Very nice, very nice. Well, I'll pick up all this because I don't really have anywhere else to go at the moment, because I don't really know where else to go. We'll do a little bit of swap here. Jacqueline will head back through the swamps here, and 34 dwarves is a lot of dwarves. Let's just do this swap right here. And then Astra's going to come to here. Natasha's going to go there. Swap. And then I will send over... Let me take... I made a mistake. Oh, just send it. Let's just send Natasha through. So here's what we currently have with Natasha's army. 1 dwarf, 37 dwarves, 14 Medusa, 12 druids, and then 1 other dwarf. Let's just see how many we lose. 1, 37, 14, 12, 1. Did we lose anything at all? We might not have. We might not have. Oh, look at this. There it is. I was so concerned. I was so concerned. And thankfully we don't have to be concerned anymore. But we do need to go back and get this tent. So Wilfrey's actually heading in the right direction. I don't think that he needs to actually defeat any enemies. So no problem so far. Troyan's going to purchase out this town in just a second. Let's get the well now before I forget. And I feel a lot better. It was a catastrophe, but we kept our heads. That seems very silly for me to say that because that did not feel like me keeping my head, but we are moving past it all the same. You enter the tent and see an old woman gazing into a magic gem. She looks up and says, "In my travels, I have learned much in the way of arcane magic. A great oracle taught me his skill. I have the answers you seek." So we now have that blue tent. We might as well pick up everything here. We will eventually get all the troops to the front. It's not going to matter. And it'll take one more day to get into the area there. Astra is there to resupply as Ivan goes by. Here. All these troops over. Swapping out for one dwarf. And I must say, which map does this scenario remind me of the most? This reminds me of the scenario right before either Archibald final scenario or Roland final scenario. It's the one where you have the choice between going after the crown or gathering as large of an army as possible. And again, it's one of those games, it's one of those scenarios where you don't have any enemies on the field and you're just kind of playing this race against yourself and doing a lot of logistics. I had mentioned in that map, I said, well, hey, I'm going to try something new just so everybody's aware. I'm going to try and cut the video down to about a 30-minute video because it felt like it was mostly logistics. I got some feedback that most people said that they don't actually like that. They said, no, we would actually very much prefer to have the full uncut version of these playthroughs. If we want to fast forward, we will fast forward, but don't take away that option from us. And so that's the feedback I got. And so I recognize that not everybody has 3 hours to sit down for one video. I recognize that some people do take the time to watch these videos over several watchings because, hey, everybody's busy. We got stuff to do. But I have been given the feedback that it's generally better to not take the decision-making process out of people's hands and let you decide if you want to watch everything in its full glory or not. So that's what I'm going to do here. I'm not going to cut this video down, even though, again, this is mostly logistics. But we've had some really interesting fights. We've had some interesting moments, and I don't think that this has been just radio silence. I think you've enjoyed spending some time with me, and I enjoy spending some time with all the people who we have comments and we have conversations with after, and I enjoy being able to go back and referencing, oh, hey, we had this conversation here in a previous video. We talked about a certain thing, and people kind of giving me updates on how their playthroughs are going. I'm really humbled that people enjoy this game as much as I do, and I'm very, very grateful that the feedback I'm getting is that, you know what, this is something worth doing, that it's not a waste of people's time. And I wouldn't have thought it was anyway necessarily, but it helps kind of keep me going. As a reminder, the reason I'm doing these videos is for this reason and this reason alone. I started off because I'd had a weird dream. I had a dream that I stepped off a curb and I got hit by a bus, and my kids didn't know who I was. And so this was going to be my YouTube record. This was going to be them being able to know who I was. And so that's my ultimate goal, is to at least continue through all of Heroes 2 and very thoroughly continue through Heroes 2. I may never stop doing Heroes 2 playthroughs, especially as the map editor for Heroes 2 comes out. As for FHeroes2 version, the map editor will come out. So there will be new maps being generated, which will lead to endless replayability. There is a new FHeroes2 campaign, I believe, that is in the works. That's going to be very exciting to see. And more. There's just always going to be something to do with Heroes Might and Magic 2. And so if you see me branch out into some other games, that doesn't mean I'm gone and, oh, he's leaving us. No, I don't think I'm ever going to leave Heroes 2. The nice thing is I think you're always going to have me around. But I'm not doing it for you. I'm doing it, again, for the reason that I originally started, and that was so I can have something fun for my kids. And it's really nice. It's really nice to be insulated from the worries and the concerns of, oh, hey, you know, is this worth somebody's time? Is this valuable or not? Just do it for the right reasons, and then if it turns out great and other people enjoy it, wonderful. But I don't have to necessarily cater to everybody else because I'm doing it for my kids and not for anybody else. I hope this makes sense, and I hope that this doesn't sound preachy or self-righteous. I hope that this just makes sense that I love this game, and I love to play this game, and I'm grateful that I got people that like to share it. So if you're a first-timer or if you come by quite a lot, doesn't matter who you are or where you're coming from, I appreciate to make your acquaintance, and I appreciate, again, all the support and all the wonderful conversations, the insights, and again, people that just love this game. So happy to be associated with all of you. Folks, we just hit a very interesting moment. We finally ran out of gold. I didn't think it would happen. But we finally ran out of gold. We have 300 gold left, but I've got plenty of gold to trade. I just need just a little bit more. Trading at a bad clip, but we will get those phoenixes, and then we will continue on our way. Natasha's going to help with the resupply, but it's Wilfrey's job to get through this Aqua barrier. Well, let's read this real quick, just in case you don't get the tent before you hit the barrier. A magical barrier stands tall before you, blocking your way. Runes on the arch read, speak the key and you may pass. You speak and nothing happens. That's because you didn't say the right thing. I'm glad that the barrier doesn't attack you though if you say the wrong thing. That would be a little much. As it stands though, Aqua barrier. We now have the traveler's tent for the Aqua barrier, and then we are good to go there. Astra is going to hand off all these troops. For some reason, the phoenixes are always the last to go. There is a reason for that, but it's just got to click in the right way, put the troops in the right spot. It's not a big deal. And then Natasha has to catch up now because Ivan is saying, let me through. Here I come, boys. Boys and girls, ladies and gentlemen, here we go. Sprites are not in my final army here, and so the treehouse is not going to be that good. I don't really care about the gold. I just am looking to get through the scenario as quickly as possible. And with this army, I think I'm going to be able to do this. Gallivant is going to hopefully help facilitate this handoff. He's going to go right there. And then maybe we can catch up to Ivan. Maybe Ivan will slow down just for 1 second. Just for 1 second. Jacqueline, I think that her usefulness has expired. Alamar, I'm just going to hit that button every now and again just to pick up those free resources. I think a lot of these heroes are going to sleep. I think that we have sufficient troops. There's no more need to wait. We're just pushing on through. Wilfrey is even being useful for only a little bit longer. And he's the guy that without him, we wouldn't even be here. So unfortunately, Wilfrey, I'm going to dismiss him. I just don't care about what he's got going on. And you know what? Maybe he's the type of person that says, well, I live to work. I don't work to live. No, wait, swap, pause, switch that. The saying is I work so I can live. I don't live to work. That's a bit of a swap there. My bad. And then otherwise, we're continuing here. None of these things matter. None of these things matter. Gold, knowledge, it doesn't matter. Luck, sure, I'll take it. But nothing else matters. We will eventually catch Ivan. Natasha is going to go to sleep. Gallivant is still trying to catch up. Ivan is pressing through at breakneck speed. The Grand Elves want to fight. I will let them. I'm going to pick up this. Oh, I can't even pick up this artifact because I'm full. But I'm wondering what the spell is, and that might be a good spell. So we're going to come back just for long enough to meet up so we can make this swap. And then and then we're going to continue on our way. And now we see Tree Home. That was one of the towns that we had talked about or in seeing in the View Town spell. There's 3 that are right next to each other, and that's kind of interesting. Why that is, I'm not quite sure, but it's nice to see. I don't have really any fire spells. Am I going to cast Fireball? Maybe. I say I don't have any fire spells, and then I say Fireball. That seems a little strange. All these other artifacts, though, I really want to keep. I'm not going to run into a blind spell, though. The Seeing Eye Pendant is good if you're against enemy troops, but I don't think that it's really going to matter otherwise. And so then, we're going to go this way, and then Ivan's going to go this way. Unless I fight some unicorns and the unicorns blind me, that would be a problem, but otherwise I don't think it's going to be an issue. Ivan does have 1 slot here, and we're going to pick up that 1 slot there. No problems. This spell is a town portal spell. Well, I've mentioned it before and I'll say it again, we don't use town portal. Are these towns worth anything? It looks like there's some troops we can purchase. These towns are actually very much worth it. So let's buy them out. And then send these down. And that means I'm probably going to have to go back here, aren't I? Yeah. Oh yeah, we're going to do this. So let's go back this way. It looks like there's still a lot of map left to be played, actually. Brown tent. I need the orange barrier. I'm guessing it's over there. What spell is this? Mass haste? Okay, let's go put that over there. And it looks like we're running low on gold, so let's just pick up some of this gold here now, and we'll make this swap next. But as you can see, I'm really picking up the pace. And that's just because the logistics don't matter. So we get rid of Town Portal because we don't use it. We get rid of the Fireball spell. We definitely want the Mass Haste, though. And then if we need to, we can pick up some other artifacts. We need to pick up these spells here. Any other troops to purchase? Just sprites and Grand Elves, though. That's a tremendous amount of Grand Elves. We'll head back this way. And as you can tell, we are just sucking up whatever resources we can, trying to finish this map off. Chain Lightning, Mass Shield, excellent spells. Happy to see them. Very happy to see additional reinforcements in terms of the elves. I wonder how the elves feel about that, by the way. Like, we're trying to gain the favor of the elves, and meanwhile we're just taking their homeland. We're beating their countrymen. I don't know if they would see me as a friend or as a conquering villain, but we don't have time to really care about their opinion. We've got stuff to do. Gold barrier's got to be over here. We, again, got this brown barrier. It's probably going to lead us to a place where we can get these other ones. But we should finish this map with plenty of time. Gallivant continues to simply pick up some freebies. And are the troop sizes getting bigger? No, not really. You would think that we would be having a lot more of these. As we go further, we'd have more enemies, bigger stacks, tougher creatures. It looks like it only really gets tougher once you get to lots of black dragons. Look at this, nothing special. If you right click on this log, it just says nothing special. Trees, grass, treehouse, dwarves, river, nothing special. That makes me think it is something special. Don't lie to me. Okay, brown barrier first. And then I'm actually going to sleep Gallivant. There's no need for him at this point. The swamp really felt like it slowed us down the most. But now that we've taken out that, we're not going to have any issues. Lots of unicorns. I wish they joined us. They chose not to. This is a mass cure spell. I'll take it. We are now out of slots, so we may need to come back and get more of that. We'll take our... Oh, we should have taken the wisdom, shouldn't we? Yeah, we should have taken the wisdom. Maybe we'll get a little bit more experience, though, as we kind of roll on through this. But again, our army is, just so we're all on the same page, 172 Grand Elves, 358 Battle Dwarves, 20 Phoenixes, 36 Unicorns, and 55 Greater Druids. We can just go. We don't have to slow down. Not in the slightest. But now we have this gold tent, gold barrier, and I'm guessing that there's a green tent over here. So now I'm actually going to use Gallivant just to see, is there like another tent over here? It looks like there is. So if you were only running one hero, you'd be in a little bit of a situation where you got to go back and forth and back and forth. And that's just another way to slow you down, which, all right. I mean, if you're going to make time an issue, that's one of the ways you can do it. We did not pick up that artifact, by the way, because I think it said that we needed to be a true leader. Okay. Sir Gallant looks like he is an upstanding young gentleman. He stands up straight. He looks you in the eye. He shakes your hand. Yeah, first wise person he meets. Oh, okay. Well, he's not wise. He's just upstanding. So there's that. My bad. I didn't mean to disparage the honor of the holder of that artifact. They're like, no, I know what I'm talking about. He's all these nice things, but he's an idiot. So we don't really have much to think about him. Month of the Plague. Doesn't really matter at this point. It can only hurt me, I think. Wait, did I go the right way? Lots of Titans. I guess we got to go up instead of that way. Yep, we do. I mean, that's pretty bad because I know that there's been a lot of troops I've been kind of holding on to. But I don't think I'm going to get them onto the front lines. And I don't think that even lots of Titans is going to really slow me down here. It's a big army. It's a big army. And this is probably why they included the spell scroll that has Town Portal in it. But I think I could still beat them anyway. If I was Joseph, the wizard, instead of Ivan the barbarian as my primary hero, I think that this would be a bad fight. As it is, I think it's winnable. Yeah, I think it's winnable. You think it's winnable? I think it's winnable. I think it's even more winnable with spells, though. I was having a discussion with someone about the playthrough so far, by the way, and in the previous scenario, there was a deviation between us and between us. I went with Ivan and he went with Joseph, and it's very interesting to consider. Let's do the mass less. It's very interesting to consider ways that you can press your advantage depending on your bonuses. If you have magic in my opinion is fairly linear, right? Your magic bolt is going to do what, 25 points of damage per spell point, and so the more spell power you're able to get, great, the better it is. But it's linear in the sense that the damage is only going to go up in increments of 25, right? Yeah, I cannot pick up the Holy Hammer because, of course, I've got a full pack. But with attack skill and defense, yeah, it's linear in the sense that, yeah, it goes up by 1 every time, and that will increase or decrease damage by 10%. But you can have a multiplicative effect with your attack and your defense based off of the number of towns you have, right? Because the more towns you have that are supplying troops to your army, the more you're going to be able to make good, effective use of that attack skill and effective use of that defense. Because again, the way that attack and defense works is for every point of attack that a creature has over defense of a defending creature, that's going to be an additional 10% damage. If I attack and I have the same amount of attack skill as some other creature has in defense skill, then there's going to be no bonus damage for me, no bonus damage for them, right? But with defense, it's half that. It's 5%. Every point of defense over attack is 5% instead of 10% bonus. I've explained that in other videos. I'm explaining it poorly now. Just roll with me on this. The point I'm making is this, is that if I have 3 different towns or 2 different towns that are supplying phoenixes, those bonuses are going to multiply faster. Their effect size is going to be even greater. And so that's really the argument for might over magic. And so in the other scenario, in the previous scenario that we just played, if you have Titans against all these barbarians, if you have Ivan and he's going to make your Titans the scariest troops that you've ever seen, then barbarians will never hold a candle to you if you have high attack and high defense on a hero supporting those Titans. But if you simply have magic, it's a little bit more difficult to support your Titans with magic unless you're using those high attack damaging spells, right? Because an anti-magic, the difference between an anti-magic and a lightning bolt, one does more damage the more spell power you have. One just lasts longer. The effect is still the same. for an anti-magic. The effect is still the same for a haste. You don't get to move faster just because you have more spell power with a haste. And so later on, what I tend to do is bless as a spell becomes much more valuable to me later on. The level 1 bless spell at an in-game situation like this, I think is more valuable than a chain lightning, because I can bless my 20 to 50 phoenixes. You know, I can bless my 358 dwarves and do max damage with them. And ultimately I'm going to end up doing more damage with that bless, with that level 1 spell, than I would have with my level 4 chain lightning. Oftentimes you see that happen. So again, might versus magic. Magic is very useful in the early game, and its effectiveness falls off later on. And so that's just something to consider when it's might versus magic. And in the previous scenario between me and this person who was making the comments, it potentially mattered a lot. The longer that the scenarios go, the more that the barbarians with their more towns were able to potentially overwhelm them. And that's normal. That's understandable. I didn't have that problem though, because I had Ivan, and the multiplicative effect was making it so my Titans were always going to be more effective than their barbarian troops were going to be. Okay, I have beat that point into the ground, and I sincerely apologize, especially when we are right here at the end. So, a great black dragon stands before you. It speaks in a surprisingly soft voice, saying, "The elves believe they have sent another hero to reclaim their prize. I believe they have sent me another meal." Well, maybe. That's actually a little bit of a fight there. So we do take some damage. 3 of these black dragons though. 14 attack, 14 defense. 30 attack, 22 defense. 14 attack, or excuse me, 14 defense, 30 attack. I'm literally going to be doing 160 bonus damage with these phoenixes. These phoenixes are going to do anywhere between 1,000 to 2,080 damage. Yikes, that's a lot of bonus damage. And so this is a time where this mass bless is huge. Absolutely huge. That's incredible. Do I have a spell? 9 spell power. Do I have a spell that's going to do that much difference in damage? If I cast the mass bless, that's an extra 1,040 damage. If I cast the lightning bolt, that's an extra 225. Yeah, mass bless is much more valuable in this case than this damaging spell. So let's do that. And let's just go to town. I think if I attack right here, I think that the dragons will roast their friends. They do. Oh, let's do that again just for fun. Let's make these guys roast them now. These poor black dragons in the middle are just feeling bad. Like, guys, please stop it. We definitely lost more druids there than we ought to have. But it doesn't matter. This fight is absolutely won, and these dwarves are going to win it right here. No problems. Okay, so we max out Ivan as far as the secondary skills. We picked up all of our secondary skills, and now we have before us this bow. We end up with 18 attack skill, 12 defense, 9 spell power, 10 knowledge, a plethora of decent artifacts, and this tremendous army that we just ended up rolling through at the end. And so month 4, week 2, day 5, we pick up this golden bow. Maybe we don't. Oh boy. Let's just send it all over. It doesn't matter. And we pick up this golden bow. A chance meeting with a famous archer finds us in a game of knucklebones, pitting his bow against our horse. We win. And this will curry favor with our friends, the elves. So that is that scenario. That was scenario 7, the Elven Lands. We will now be on to this final scenario. This is going to be scenario 8, the Epic Battle. This is the final battle against your rival, the Kingdom of Herondale. Eliminate everyone and don't lose the hero, Draconis IV. So we're going to have Uncle Ivan. As we have seen, he's been very effective. And then we will have the Elven Alliance. Elves and Grand Elves will be willing to join our army. But folks, that's going to have to be for another day. Thank you so much for being here. This was an interesting scenario. And again, I am looking forward to getting back to scenario 6 because that was a very interesting scenario as well. And there was a lot of tactical opportunity. And there's a lot of things I'd explained and expressed that I'm looking forward to getting back around to very, very soon. But first, we must clean up this campaign with the Descendants scenario 8. We will do that next time. Thanks again for all the support. Look after yourself. Look after your family and loved ones. If you're not well, do whatever you got to take, whatever it takes to put you first. And all my good feelings go out to you at this time. Folks, my name is Fix Fox. I will see you next time. Until then, I'm out.